guilty of crime.
And we're back. Hello, everybody. What's up? Good to see you. Happy almost Friday. Welcome in. I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime, and we're back. Yeah, let's get the cape out. It's Super Jay's in the house. That makes me feel good because it's just another one of those days that you can bask in the wrong things. All right. So welcome in. Thank you for the comment. I appreciate y'all. Come on in. Felicia. Hello, my friend. Jinx. Jinxie. What is Jinxie saying here? I get to watch live today on your birthday. Happy birthday, Jinx. A huge happy birthday to you. If anyone else has birthdays, let me know. Come on in, guys. I'm going to say hello to everybody. And then we've got a serious show today. Now, y'all know you guys have been probably keeping an eye out for the David documentation, and every channel's covering it, but they're not going to cover it the way that we do at Guilty of Crime. So David literally documented the dark killing of Celeste Rivas. Evidence will show chainsaws, body bags, and a kid pool. Guys, this guy is twisted, and all of our kids are in danger. Not only that, I got to tell you something. I've been saying from day one, you can go back and watch my 15 episodes of David. I've been saying this little girl was 11 when she started getting groomed, 12 when she was already groomed, and by 13, he started raping Celeste. Okay. So, I mean, this is almost unbelievable. I cannot wrap my mind around this, and I wouldn't have been able to present it yesterday because it's so dark and so twisted, and everything is right in front of our eyes to see. So that's what I'm going to show y'all today. But before we do, what's up, Princess Mish? So glad to have you back. Joanne, I'll take the Super J. Where's my cape? Sadie's mama, how are you? Lady Jinx, our Lady for Justice says, happy birthday, Jinx. Flojo's in the house. Hey, buddy, I was looking for your show last night. Again, I won't say anything out loud, just prayers to you. And dude, we're going to collab. We are going to collab at some point soon. EEOI says, I love you. Love you too. Don't know who you are, but I love you. Happy birthday, Jinx. Yeah, we're all love over here. So Edith, what's up? Cuff you. Thank you for being here, my friend. Stony, how you doing? I know my girl Tiff is somewhere in the house. I got Holly and Kel in the same day with Cuff you and Mama Pearl and Tiff. What is going on here? It's my lucky day. Now I'm starting to feel good. I was kind of basking in a little bit of like, woe is me before I came on here. I'll be honest. Shadow Lion, there's awesome Jay in chat. I love my lions. Welcome. Happy birthday, Jinx. Remy, good to see you. Clementine's always easy to shake out of them bushes. Shook you easily. I'm going to try to do that every single day. Just shake you out of the bushes. And even Allie's here. And geez, I've got this Red Bull, and there's nothing special about it. It's just an old school Red Bull. Welcome. Oh my goodness, my brother's here. What the hell? Hello, brother. I love you. I'm glad you're here. Stay here, okay? And be nice because the mods will kick you out if you're not, even though you're my brother. All right? Love you. Love you, Mama Pearl. I got Mama Pearl and my brother. My goodness, what a day. Hello, everybody. Deb's in the house. That's crazy, man. I'm not even going to say nothing to you about that, Clementine. We're just going to leave it as that. Yes, Mama Pearl is my mom and Andre is my brother. So, wow, I got the whole fam here today. Wow, we're starting to like this, Jay. I thought we were BFFs. All right, guys, let's get into it. This is just going to be, this is one of those episodes where you can't get around the trigger warning. And I'm going to do it a little different. Like, I'm not going to come on here and just start reading, 9 pages and then die afterwards. I'm going to break it down and take it apart and do the whole deal. So that's the garage. That is literally the garage that's in the documentation of David and where he ultimately, allegedly, cut up Celeste with a chainsaw, stabbed her to death, pulled down. This is just, who does this and then leaves that type of evidence around? I don't know. But this is not the pool, but this is basically what was going down once we get into it, all right? So he had a blue pool with 2 chainsaws, a body bag, and trash bags with a shovel. And what is it called? Over here, you DoorDash, and over there, it's Postmate. This guy cannot be that dumb. He literally documented his crime. He should have just filmed it. If he'd have just put a camera and film it for us, we would be able to just go right to it, watch it, and lock him up. But that didn't happen. So we're going to have to do this together. Remy, good to see you. Happy Cappy, how you doing? I know, it is very disturbing, but he left a trail of evidence 10 miles long. I've never, ever seen a case like this in my entire life where there's this much digital forensic evidence and DNA and everything else. I've never, ever seen one. It almost doesn't exist because we're in a new generation of people and children that use social media all day, all the platforms. Guys, they had to get 54 search warrants. That's unheard of. 54 search warrants. I have no idea how he thought he's going to get away with this. I don't either. He might as well just filmed it. I shit you not. 54 search warrants. A search warrant for each phone, each device, and on each phone and each device, each app. So every single app, every single device, times however many. 50 damn 4. And guys, they didn't even ask. This I don't know what the strategy is going to be. We may not see a trial because let me tell you something. They are very deep into this. They want to move forward, the prosecution and the defense. Now, the defense is demanding that the prosecution hurry the hell up. Now, there's 50 terabytes. 10 of them are CSAM, or what people call child pornography, which it can't be because children can't consent. 40 terabytes with 10 of those terabytes being CSAM. Now, listen, guys, I've never seen anything like that ever because we're in a different world. We're in a different time. Everything was laid out for us. However, I gotta interject something. There's gotta be some strategy to this. We might not see a trial. And let me tell you why. They were in a hurry to get all of the documents. However, yesterday when they were in court, they only requested 2 motions, my friends. 2 motions. And I'm going to show you what that is right now. They only asked for 2 motions, okay? They didn't ask to unseal anything. They didn't ask to do anything. They only asked for David to get a haircut and for him to wear street clothes. Now, the judge literally said several times that you can file a motion right now to get those documents unsealed several times, and they did not budge. The only motions that they filed was for David to wear street clothes and for David to get a freaking haircut. And we can't even imagine why. What are we allowed to swear or hear? I don't know who Delk B is, but swear here. What are we talking about here, sir? All right. So listen, guys, they only filed 2. This isn't even it. This is showing how he was already under investigation. David, a couple of months ago, we talked about David. Well, we just talked about him being under investigation and killing a witness. All right. So we didn't know. David knew that Riverside County Sheriff's Department had made contact with him at the West Hollywood Sheriff's Department. And it was confirmed yesterday and will effectively eliminate any defense that he didn't know Celeste's age. Because when she went missing one of the many times, police went over to the house where the parents sent them to, and David shrugged it off and said, "Oh, I have a picture of her in the yearbook, but I don't know how old she is." At the time, law enforcement told them how old she was. She was 13 when they started having sex. And so then they started looking into him. Now, on April 23rd, it's very troubling that Celeste was at home with their family in Lake Elsinore on April 23rd when David sent an Uber to bring her to Hollywood Hills. He literally used his name and his credit card to pay for an expensive Uber from Lake Elsinore to Hollywood Hills. Then she had been reported missing for a full year. Now, I want you to realize she was never missing, guys. She was never missing. This was all just for them to put this down and be able to create a prosecution. She was not attending school, and so the parents had to put a missing person or they would go to jail. Now, she went 80 miles in an Uber. That's a lot. If anybody knows about Ubers, that's a really expensive Uber for the last day of somebody's life that you take and then dismember and leave in your trunk and walk away in front of a camera where everybody saw you driving that car. All right. So look at, they have this address on Doheny. Law enforcement went there. They were looking for Celeste. David said he didn't know her really, but yada, yada. They told him how old she was. He knew. LAPD confirmed it, and then they started keeping an eye on her. 2 days after this visit, guys, just 2 days after this visit, Celeste went home. Okay. She went home. She was never missing. And we have the footage that shows her leaving. I have the apartment complex, neighbors, and an ex-boyfriend that's talking about this. Okay. He left this out there. This is where she spent her final moments. Well, I don't know if she was alive by then, but that's a garage, and these are the tools, and we need justice. All right. This is what he did to her. And, I mean, it's all out there. So let's just start with a clip. Let's start with some clips because the new timeline is out there now. And, I mean, it's just disgusting what he did, but here's what prosecutors are revealing. This is what they revealed yesterday. This came out today. Today, we have much more information than we did last night. Justice for Celeste Rivas. Now, do me a favor, guys. If you come on in here, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, get a membership if you can. If anyone wants to start us off, I believe we have a goal up there. That'd be awesome. Now, if we can get to that goal, guys, I will have a call-in. Get us to the goal. We'll do a call-in, and you can just let it all out. All right. So let's get to it. This is very disturbing, and the documents are even worse. So trigger warning, because by now I assume you guys have heard a lot of this.
Warning, prosecutors offering new details about the gruesome death of a 14-year-old girl who they say was killed by the singer David.
Horrible music.
Filed Wednesday, the prosecution claims David, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, met Celeste Rivas Hernandez when she was 11 years old, and they started a sexual relationship in 2023 when she was 13. He was 18. Prosecutors say they obtained text messages that showed a sexual relationship. In one, Rivas Hernandez allegedly texting David, "All we do is have sex and just hang out, man. I want more than that for myself." They allege in April of last year, she threatened to expose their relationship and destroy his career. It's alleged that she came to his Hollywood Hills home on April 23rd, where he stabbed her multiple times, just 2 days before his first studio album was set to be released. After the teen's murder, court documents allege David ordered 2 chainsaws, a body bag, a heavy-duty laundry bag, and a blue inflatable pool, all under a fake name. The filing goes on to say David used a chainsaw to
Guys, I have the pictures of the packages. Again, I'm going to get into the actual document, and it's going to take a toll on you. I wish I wouldn't have heard about this last night because I had trouble falling asleep. You just don't really hear about this kind of the depravity and the depth. You just don't ever get that evidence. You usually have circumstantial evidence, but this is not circumstantial. This is literally audio, video, and digital trails that David left right in the way. I know he does look scary. Thank you, Tanya, for the $4.99 super chat for getting that started off. All right, that his music is garbage. Let me tell you that right now. Amazon needs to have a policy about those items. I agree. They should have like a red flag. However, if you're dumb enough to take someone's life and then order a kill/dispose body kit, that's on you. All right, Gigi, good to see you. All right, let's keep going because we got one today. We're also talking about, was Celeste pregnant at one time? Did she get pregnant prior to? Is that why she was taking the morning after pill? Also, her death certificate was changed to update as unknown if she was pregnant. All right, so we're getting into all of that. Let's get to it. There's a lot.
dismember her body, including cutting off 2 of her fingers because one of them had a tattoo of his name on it. David has pled not guilty, and his lawyers have said in the past they will vigorously defend David's innocence. Former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani believes Burke's defense will most likely argue that Celeste accidentally died from an overdose and Burke panicked, cutting up and hiding her body.
If you're looking at the 3 sets of charges, the mutilation of a corpse is the least serious. So if they can somehow fall on that and avoid either the sex crimes or the murder itself, that would be a huge win for the defense.
The victim's remains were found in the trunk of David's abandoned Tesla last September.
Guys, they didn't even file a motion to find out what they have. Guilty as guilty gets is right, but how are they going to provide a defense when all he's worried about is changing his clothes and a haircut? Which, by the way, people that were close to David said that he would literally not change his clothes for days. He wasn't very cleanly. All right, CSAM. What do you mean? What's child sexual abuse material? It's CSAM, Ariba. You just said it. It's child pornography. What they used to call child pornography is now called CSAM. And that means naked pictures or pictures of children that are inappropriate and providing either sex crimes on video or what have you. I'm only going to say that once, okay? You guys will have to go back because that's not YouTube friendly. Okay, so it's basically raping young children, right? But I do want this to get in the algorithm, so that's the last time I'm going to say that. All right, CSAM, that's abuse of children in a manner that nobody wants. All right, let's continue. This is, I mean, it's unheard of, but he was an uncleanly guy, and he wore his clothes quite often, day after day. So people were surprised that he cared about his court clothes and a haircut.
September, one day after she would have turned 15.
David's attorney wanted the legal brief that was released on Wednesday sealed, but a judge denied that request. He's due back in court next month.
This morning, prosecutors are...
Listen, guys, that's the only thing they asked for, was it to be sealed about his CSAM. He didn't want us to know that he's a big chomo, a big pedo, whatever you want to call him. He didn't want us to know that. And the judge said, screw you. Not only did the judge say, screw you about that, the judge said, I'm not going to let you wear your street clothes. And I'm going to imagine that the reason the judge said that was because fuck David, right? After you see these documents, fuck David. Who cares what he wears? Jinx, happy birthday. Welcome to the Crime Crew Official. I think you've been here before, a member, but anyway, thank you for getting a membership. As we get started, we'll do something. I do have a lot of reading to do today, so thank you, Jinxie. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate you. Wendy. We're going to talk about that right now, okay? We're going to talk about it right now. Don't worry. I have the documents. I have everything everyone else has. I just go in the guilty of crime style that I do. All right? So let's get into it. Thank you all for being here. Whoever's here, let's talk about Celeste. Was she pregnant at the time? Was she ever pregnant? That might have also been a motivator, but they're using motive as money, that he was going to lose his money. Hey, Ebony, good to see you, my friend. How you doing? Linda, Golden Hen, loves the judge, and me too. Kira, hey, fam. Well, I just shortened it to hey, fam. Hey, fam. Shadows in the house. All right, check this out, guys. Let's take a look at this real quick. Unknown if Celeste was pregnant in the death certificate that they updated. All right, today's April 30th. This came out this morning, April 30th at 10 a.m. And the death certificate has been changed. I'm not going to launch this document right now. We gotta trust it. There are some important updates to the death certificate, guys, of Celeste Rivas. The document now reflects the fact that LA County medical examiner says she was murdered, and it's unknown if she'd been pregnant in the year before she was killed. Now, they have all of the text messages, and in those messages, it talks about the morning after pill and contraception and pregnancy. All right. So TMZ obtained the death certificate, the new one, and it no longer says that she was not pregnant. Now in the section is marked as unknown. All right. I don't know how important. I'm going to just pull it up for a second to see if, they actually do have it. I'll pull it up for you then. So the manner of death was changed from, the big capital M, and pregnancy is now unknown. Now, I don't know if they're going to be able to go back. I'll show you that in a second, but, it does say the certificate cause of death was deferred from multiple penetrating injuries, and the manner of death from pending to homicide. All right. So, this is him facing the judge. We already saw this. The document was also corrected to say the injury date, hour, place, and location are unknown, describing how injury occurred. Events which resulted in injury now says with objects. You remember I told you that Celeste was torn apart like a werewolf, like an animal? Well, that explains the chainsaw, and the blue tub explains the blue plastic inside of her cuts and grooves. All right, so now David's charged with the big capital M, maybe facing the death penalty. He was mutilating her body and having sex with her, but really you can't have that because she's not consensual before she turned 14. Now, of course, he pled not guilty. Celeste's death certificate was first released back in September, and that was a few weeks after her body was found dismembered in David's trunk. And allegedly, he was the last person to drive that. He dropped the car off with her body in it, and he went on tour. All right. So I'm going to just show you that real quick because, that's not the whole topic of today. If you know me, squirrel. So I try to keep in line as much as I can with what I'm talking about. All right. So there it is. They changed her certificate of death from unknown or manner, sharp object, what have you, to homicide. And if she was pregnant or pregnant within the last year, from no to unknown. All right. So you can see now she was born on 9/7/2010. All right. She would be 15 She would be 16 if she would have made it to November. Age 15, documented here, never married, Hispanic, Salvadorian American. She was a student. Guys, she was in 7th grade. They put 8th on here, but she never made it through 8th grade. She was in 7th maybe when she met David. That's disgusting. Most 11-year-old 7th graders don't even have a period yet, and David was drooling over this little girl. All right, I think she got too big for him. Allegedly, she was getting taller than him because he's a little tiny man. He's a piece of a man. All right. So she was getting taller and bigger, and her mind said, I don't want to just be having sex all day. I want you to take me out. I want people to know about me. And if not, then I'm going to expose you. Okay, come over. I'll pay $1,000 for you to come. End her life. All right. So, first parent, Jesus Edgardo. Look at Edgardo. That's like Eduardo. If you guys know, you know. All right. Middle name of her parents, Mercedes Guadalupe. She wasn't missing. They knew exactly where she was. I want you to understand that at the beginning. She was never missing. The only reason they marked her as that is so they wouldn't get in trouble. You will go to jail if your children don't go to school. All right. So law enforcement was already on to David. They'd already visited him. They already told him how old she was. And he said, sir, I met her once. All right. She never made it to 15. I know, but they put that on the death certificate. That's what they put. All right. The way you pronounce names. Well, thank you. If it's funny, then hey, I got your attention. Letitia, Guardo, tomato, potato, whatever you want. All right. So here you go. What did I didn't pull down. Okay. So here it is. Queen of Heaven Mortuary. Again, guys, she was 71 pounds. That was what was left of her. All right. So she was missing certain parts of her arms, certain parts of her legs, head, torso, arms, legs in a separate bag on top of each other. All right. And then deferred. The immediate cause was deferred, but we know now that it is different. And then biopsy, no. Death reported, yes. Autopsy, yes. And they got a lot of redacted things, which is good. All right. So there it is. There's the first one. And then you've got the deferred to multiple penetrating wounds, and the pregnancy went from pending investigation to homicide, and then from not pregnant to unknown. And you can see all of those here: unknown, unspecified, with objects. All right. Date signed 4/22/2026. Guys, this was only 8 days ago that they changed this. 8 days ago. Today's the 30th. They did that on 4/22/2026. So that changes the whole timeline and everything that we have. So what I'm going to do while I get the reading done, because I know I got a lot of reading to do today and a bunch of other things, I'm going to show you this amazing timeline. I actually have it where I can read it to you, but if I read it to you, I'm not going to be able to read that whole other document. So let me show you real quick. And then I'm going to put this in the chat as well. There's an amazing timeline here. You can't spell devil without the word evil. You got that right. And I'm going to use narcissistic in a proper term. David is absolutely narcissistic, probably psychopathic, and we'll find out the other things as things come out. All right. Now take a look. Let me show you this timeline real quick. I'm gonna show you the timeline, but I'm gonna let what is her name? Kadasha Lynn, however you say it. Whoever Allie can correct me if I said it wrong. But here's the timeline. And it's the new timeline because now all that we know is in a different timeline. We didn't know most of this stuff, but law enforcement did. So look at this. It changes the timeline significantly. This is the day that allegedly she was dead. She arrived that evening. The World Ticket Center began. TikTok, he goes on there, prayers answered. The next day, he's on Twitch doing this, right? Live appearance. Next day, hosting a party, partying it up. LA to New York, early morning on April 25th. That's just 2 days after, to Union Square. Withered album drops. I mean, all this. Then he goes on stage and he cries at the Afterlife tour, which we now know he killed allegedly Celeste 2 days before, and probably was singing about that. So there he is crying. I mean, this is a great timeline, but I want you to do better. Let's get you this, and then I'll get into that document. We have a lot today. All right.
So I made a timeline with all the information that we got from prosecutors yesterday. This is based off their opinions, not mine, but let's get into it. Number one is April 22nd. There's texts between Celeste and David that show a fight over other girls, and Celeste threatens to expose their relationship. And then the next day on April 23rd at 8:40 p.m., David orders Celeste an Uber. Then at 10:10 p.m., Celeste arrives at his home. Prosecutors are alleging that the unaliving of Celeste happened between 10:10 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. because at 10:30 p.m., they are saying that David texts Celeste's phone, "Where are you at?" 11:30 p.m., David leaves his home and heads to Santa Barbara County, and then he texts and calls Celeste's phone. Then the next day on April 24th, David leaves Santa Barbara County in the morning and he returns to LA to do a radio show. I think there's a big possibility that the radio show they're talking about is this one by Songwriter Universe, because they say that it was actually recorded in April of 2025, but they didn't.
Yeah, I could literally do a whole episode on the timeline that I shared with you, but I just want you to see how the timeline is and how narcissistic and psychopathic that David really is. All right. This is a shortened timeline, but it tells you details about what he did. And of course, they had to cross their T's and dot their I's. He's 5'6". Everybody says he's small. People that went to court are saying, man, I didn't expect him to be that small. Everybody was saying that. He's petite. Yeah, he's an evil petite man. Yeah, we just wait till we get into all of it. If you haven't already heard it, I heard he was off the rails, and I bet he was. Probably only 130 pounds, guys. All right, hit that like button. We're going to get into the document right after this. That way, if you don't want to hear all the other stuff, then you can leave. You don't need to hear it. All right, let's continue.
Actually put it out until August 12th of 2025. David sends 2 texts to Celeste's phone again, and then David orders a shovel from Home Depot delivered by Postmates. David does a Twitch stream at his home in LA at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. And then David's album release party starts at 8 p.m. Pacific time. And that's based off that text notification that Steve Fisher was able to get his hands on. And then on April 25th, we know that David's album release party was still happening because it was still active at 12:30 a.m. Pacific time. Then after this party, David travels from LA to New York City. We know that David's Withered album drops that day, and also he performs at Band Lab Pop-Up Day 1, where David cries while he's performing Afterlife. And then on April 26th, David does the Band Lab Pop-Up Day 2. On April 27th, David travels from New York to Houston, Texas, and David performs and he cries again during Afterlife. And then on April 28th, David travels from Houston to...
Who thinks that he's going to get out of this anywhere? Allie says, I'm locked in. You got it. Thank you. I'm just trying to get all the paperwork and things ready and not do the timeline. So minutes before I came on here, this lovely lady, her and Matt Thibodeau are great for that, to give an overview. My goodness. David thought he was a sexy papi chulo. Yeah. 5'6". You can put him in your pocket and just go to town. He was able to act normal. People don't think that he was acting normal, however, but he is very weird and very dark. And many people said that, as a matter of fact, when they were in the presence of David, before even knowing all this, that they felt a really dark energy about him, guys. All right. Badass says, I ran away at least 4 times, and every time my dad showed up with the cops and a preacher in tow, demanding I'd come home, and he wouldn't leave the house until I came up or my friends got me. 110%. I'm glad you made it through that time. It is not safe. And we should not do that. We need to make sure we don't even care. Arrest us. Go grab your daughter by her hair and drag her ass home. Whatever you got to do, you can't let that happen. There was financial gain, however, and we will see the financial gain come out. Her parents did know, and David's parents did know, because David's parents met Celeste. She went to his house in New York, wherever they live. Texas. All right. Inquisitive P. Thank you so much for the $1.99 super sticker. I do appreciate you. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Gigi. Carrie's in the house. Kira, she was already dead when oh yeah, that's what we're talking about right now. So he killed her on April 23rd. All right. Between April 23rd and April 24th in the morning hours, he was doing stuff like getting rid of evidence, but he couldn't cut her body up yet because he was going to leave on tour. By April 25th, he was on tour. That's where we are right now. And we see him on the 26th crying. All right. Flojo TV's in the house. Thank you. You guys go sub up, drop a link. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's why I'm putting a timeline up for you guys. And I dropped it in chat if you need to go back. But don't worry, we're going to go over it and then go over it again. Flojo, thank you so much. Golden Hen, thank you so much. You guys rock. You guys rock. Thank you. You're like, shut up and just read. Yeah, I would never run away from home because I didn't have anything to run away from. We are going to hear from Celeste's ex-boyfriend that said she ran away from home all the time before she ever met David. All right. So something was going on there, and the parents didn't speak English very well. So the brother stepped in many times, and Celeste did whatever she wanted. Well, the wrong person got a hold of her, didn't he? All right, let's continue. Thank you, Linda, for the $2 super chat. I love Flojo in the house. Flojo's great. All right. I don't know what was supposed to happen, but it didn't.
New York. That's because on April 29th, David performs at Brooklyn Steel Show in New York. And after David returns from doing all that, on May 1st is when prosecutors allege that David ordered 2 chainsaws off Amazon. Mind you, one very distinct thing that I saw about this in the document, they did not say that the chainsaws were ordered under that fake name like they did with everything else. And on May 5th, David orders the body bag, the heavy-duty laundry bags, the blue inflatable pool, under the name Victoria Mendez. And I included.
I was going to show you these pictures, but I'm glad she has them. There's literal packages on his porch that have Victoria Mendez's name. He just put it under a Hispanic girl's name and ordered a kill and bury kit right to his front door. I mean, like, how much dumber can you get? I think he was on drugs, like, heavily. Because look at this. I just want to show you real quick. 2 things. Number 1, 2 days ago when they were in court, David's legal team never filed a motion to unseal the search warrants, guys. There were 54 search warrants that they need to know about, and they didn't do it at all. Instead, they filed 2 motions, one asking for a haircut, which was approved, and one asking for street clothes, which was denied. All right. Then I've also got the video here now. We finally got this video, which I can watch it a million times. It's hard to tell. And there's the packages. As stated in the preliminary hearing briefing filed by prosecutors, David was receiving package, guys, including the burn cage at that rental house under Victoria Mendez. All right. You can see those on his porch. It matches. Now, that's probably the Amazon driver, but that's David's house. And those items connect back to David's credit card. All right, look at that. Victoria Mendez. And that's the address that he was at. And he bought a kiddie pool so that there wouldn't be blood everywhere. That's what he did. All right. And then you take a look at this real quick. I can watch it a million times. I still don't see David, but other people do. And the prosecutor does. And that's all that matters. That's when the car got dropped off, guys. Let me make it bigger. And then I'll get back into the timeline. Look at that. That they allege that was David that left and dropped off the car and continued to walk away to go do his thing and get to his tour. All right. So I don't know what they are proving by this picture. Maybe they're when they paused it and freeze framed it, they're trying to say this was in fact David, but they do state that they have the evidence that this is in fact David leaving. All right. Now I'll pause it real quick and see if you can see anything, but I don't think so. I don't know how many times I've looked at it and I just can't see it. Someone else said it was Neo with his red jersey, but I'm assuming that, I mean, this isn't very tinted. This is tinted back here and this is not. It's just dirty. And if you were to be like a forensic investigator or something and take this out and stop it and freeze frame, you might be able to see it. All right. So, I mean, that's the best I can get. I do not see a guy with a red jersey, and I'm going to take their word for it that David drove that car out and dropped it off and then walked away. All right. This is what we've been waiting for how long? Guys, how long have we been waiting for this? Since last year, we were like, oh, they're going to have a secret grand jury. When is he going to be arrested? Well, now we know. All right, let's continue the timeline and then we'll get into the document.
The photos that Steve Fisher uploaded of packages sitting on David's doorstep with that same name. Prosecutors also allege that this is the day that David dismembered Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And then we also have David posting on his Instagram stories in LA at 11 p.m. Pacific time. On May 8th, David leaves his home at 11:30 p.m. to go back to Santa Barbara County again. And then from May 8th to May 31st, nothing very significant happens because we know that David is also out of the country in Japan, Korea, etc. Last thing I can find of David actually performing while he was out of the country before May 31st is May 25th of 2025. Prosecutors allege basically when David gets back from being out of the country that he goes back to Santa Barbara County on May 31st. And this one was interesting because they don't have any time frame.
Now, let me tell you something real quick, guys. I don't understand it either, Ebony, whatsoever at all. However, I say that to say this. P. Diddy did this for what, 25 years? He got away with trafficking women from state to state, and not women, I'm sorry, little girls, bringing little girls from New York to LA, from Florida to LA, from LA to Florida. I mean, he even bought his own little white girl daughter that he said he adopted and allegedly is using for sex things, right? Allegedly, he did that with Usher and Bieber and several others. So all of this same thing that you're seeing here is also going to be documented for what happened with Diddy. This guy did it one time and he's going to be in prison forever. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I think he thought he was above the law and untouchable because this is all this evidence. We're like, wow. But if you look at the Diddy trial, it's this times like 1,000, guys. All right. Yeah, Usher still backs Diddy, and it's crazy. All right, you're welcome, Annette. I appreciate you. Hit that like button if you like the way I present true crime. How the F did they not know if she was pregnant or not? Well, they're going to find out. That's the thing. The organ wasn't removed, no. But they didn't look for that, and there was a lot of decomposition. So they went back in. That you saw that. They changed the death certificate only 8 days ago. All right? I mean, as far as I know, as far as I'm concerned, well, number one, thank you. Pink Stars, love you too. Yeah, he's just a monster. Satan does walk this earth, and he comes in all shapes and sizes.
Next to the Santa Barbara trip like they do the others. From May 31st to July 7th, the prosecutors don't name anything, but they say on July 7th that David ordered a burn cage from Amazon under the fake name.
Now, guys, I think he got the burn cage because he didn't know what to do with her body, and he thought, well, I'll just get it and see what happens. You have to remember, he allegedly stabbed her to death on April 23rd. And then went to go do his stuff. He didn't start ordering burn cages, shovels, body bags, or any of that until May. All right. So she was laying around somewhere dead, not even in a pool because he didn't have that yet. And that's why this is so important, the timeline. I know, Sergio. I know. Rest in peace, Celeste Rivas Hernandez. All right, let's continue.
Victoria Mendez. And obviously, after this point is when they're alleging that David parked the Tesla for the very last time on July 29th of 2025, right before he would leave on his tour. And we know that David's Tesla was reported by neighbors for being abandoned at the end of August, as it never moved from the same spot that prosecutors are alleging that David left it at. Then finally, after a couple of days, it ends up getting towed after nobody moved it, and then they end up recovering Celeste Rivas Hernandez in the front of David's Tesla on September 8th, just one day after it would have been her 15th birthday. But obviously, she was gone way before then, and that's why we say Celeste Rivas Hernandez only made it to 14 years old. I thought this visual timeline would definitely help with the allegations from the prosecution, because you can see his time frame match up with exactly what they're alleging. But you guys let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
What happened? Okay, I had the document that was not TMZ.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. We are learning.
This is about her little buddy, her ex-boyfriend, and showing the last time she was there. I just had that document. My girl Tiff, are you around? I just had that document. Oh, the briefing. Okay, I should have downloaded it. My bad. Never mind. I got it. All right, let's listen to what her ex says, and then I'll be ready to read. Okay, it's only like 5 minutes, and you're gonna see the last time we ever see her, etc.
More about Celeste Rivas, the teenager. Her body remains were found in the Tesla of singer David. The investigation is still going on. We don't know the cause of death yet, even though the death certificate came out yesterday. The medical examiner is deferred.
I don't know why he says he doesn't know the cause of death yet. This was yesterday.
But he says that she did talk about some trouble at home, and
no.
I don't know how much of this is typical.
Okay, this was September 30th, so they don't know. But this is her ex-boyfriend. I don't know if anybody's seen this. Her ex-boyfriend talks about how troubled she was and she ran away, etc., etc. We'll play up for a minute.
Didn't treat her well or whatever, and she didn't like where she was at.
Her family
didn't treat her well or whatever, and she didn't like where she was at.
Did she talk at all about her relationship with her parents?
Kind of. She just said they were mean or whatever. She didn't like them.
What is your last memory that you have of Celeste?
We were at PE, and she told me, my friend, that she was running away, and she said it was because of her parents, and she was like joking about it, and she was like happy, like joking like she always was, and like it didn't seem real because like she was like playing around, joking about it. And the next day she wasn't at school, and like that's the last time I saw her.
100%.
Yeah, so she had run away, as you know, and we've talked about several times. She ran away in January of 2024, came back, and police got her in February in Hollywood, and then she ran away in March of 2024. Now, we're told that's the last time the family saw her, although there's some conflict over whether she came back after that.
Well, yeah, so it was interesting, too, his interview. I mean, that matches up with what...
She actually did come back. This was in September, and I'm going to show you video footage later of the last time.
David Tesla to the
there she is right here. I have more footage with neighbors that speak out from yesterday, but I'm not going to play that yet. Let me just show you. This is where she lived. Same old story. I don't like being at home. My parents are mean, right?
This incident, though, is exactly 1 year
there she is
before the body was discovered in David Tesla to the day.
Right.
You know, the neighbors told us that they thought that she was just back home, but it seems like she was going back and forth.
It seems that way, and it's different from the initial report, which was
that she was
the final time she was
Hollywood.
seen was in March, and she went to Hollywood, and that was it.
Right.
Hello, my name is Tori. I'm from Mississippi.
All right, we're not going to talk to the neighbors yet. What's up to you, girlfriend? All right, let's take a look now at what Nathan Hockman and everyone else has. Yeah, it's a pretty typical thing for kids to say, I don't like my parents. They're mean, even when you do everything in the world for them. But listen, this is why it's so important. And I do believe she was placed in the refrigerator because he had to go on tour, guys. He took her life, stabbed her twice, or two fatal wounds. There might be more. She also has defensive wounds from what they say. And then he went so far as to cut her fingers off so you couldn't see the David tattoo. All right. So now I'm going to get into the documentation, and we'll see how that goes. Hit that like button, subscribe. We've got a bunch of super stickers, guys. Let's get some memberships in the house. Let's get some things popping. I'm going to read, which means all mods, be aware. Trolls come out. All right. Now, Wolfpack says she wasn't pregnant at the time she died, but there's text between. Well, I just went over that in the very beginning. They don't know for sure now. They say it's unknown because of the text messages regarding pregnancy, abortion, and Plan B. So I don't know if you were here at the beginning, but if you go back to that, they actually changed it from she wasn't pregnant to unknown. Right? I guess they could tell with maybe some hormones or something in the body. Right? No, I get it. I get the rebellion and the parents try to shut it down. The reason we know the parents tried to shut it down is because they called law enforcement and that triggered them to go to David's house. If they would have never went to David's house, there wouldn't have been an investigation to even have, and Celeste wouldn't have been a witness to be killed. Does that make sense? All right. Yes, well, back. You're late, and I read that in the very beginning. There's an article. I showed the death certificate. The death certificate was changed. What's up, Danny from LA? Good to see you, my friend. Pregnancy at a young age. What? As soon as you have a period, guys, as soon as your child has a period, they can reproduce. All right, let's get into the document. Trigger warning. It's long and it's very dark. Now, luckily, it's not like 100 pages like all those Madeline Soto documents. All right. So today's April 30th, 2026. This was filed in court yesterday on the 29th. Nathan Hochman. All right. If I skim through some of it, it's just because, you know why. All right. Oh, girl, don't even get me started on that conversation. Y'all can have that conversation right behind the scenes. Don't get me on that topic. All right. And then when I'm done reading and stuff, I will pay attention to all of you. I'll try to answer questions, and I have so much more for you. So please stay here. Like, share this if you would, subscribe, get a membership, do all the stuff. All right. All right. Let's get to it. I'll pay attention when I'm done. All right. So California versus David Anthony Burke, or D4vd, the defendant. All right. And I'm not going to read all of it, but I do want to give you the main points. All right. The people submit the following, and this begins on preliminary hearing scheduled for May 1st. All right. Start with the background of facts, which I'm going to get to the evidence as well, guys. All right. The dismembered body of 14-year-old Celeste, the victim, was discovered in the front trunk of the defendant's Tesla Model X on September 8th, 2025. The vehicle had been towed 3 days prior from Bluebird Avenue, which was parked approximately 400 feet from the defendant's home on Doheny Place in Hollywood Hills. Surveillance video and other evidence confirm that the defendant, David, was the last person to drive the vehicle on July 29th, 2025, before he left Los Angeles on a concert tour. On September 8th, the manager of the tow yard where the Tesla had been impounded noted a strong smell of decay and the presence of flies coming from the vehicle. He notified LAPD, Hollywood auto detectives, who determined the Tesla was registered to the defendant through the department at the tow yard. LAPD detectives opened the Tesla front storage compartment and observed a black cadaver bag covered in insects. Inside that bag, they discovered a severely decomposed head and torso. Now, a plastic garbage bag beneath the black cadaver bag contained the dismembered arms and legs. However, the victim's ring and pinky finger on her left hand had been amputated and were not found in the Tesla. Now, on September 16th, 2025, the LA County medical examiners positively identify Celeste from her dental records, right? She had braces and such. So her parents couldn't have been that bad. Pursuant to the investigation, LAPD robbery homicide detectives determined the victim and defendant met in January 2022. Guys, she was 11 years old. There's no dispute anymore about this. We kept saying 11 or 12. She was 11, guys. My daughter's 11. Fuck this guy. Excuse my language, but fuck this guy. All right. Sorry. And if I don't get monetized for that, that just makes me upset. All of our children, all of our grandchildren are playing Fortnite and Roblox and all that. And these predators are taking them from that platform to Discord. And that's what David did. All right. Now, so she was 11. They began a sexual relation in November of 2023 when the victim was just 13 years old and the defendant was 18. Detectives learned that the victim had been reported missing to the Riverside County Sheriff's Department by her family, who live in Lake Elsinore, in February and April of 2024. Now, the RCSD, Riverside, sheriffs, telephonically contacted the defendant on February 17th of 2024. So the police called David. Let me take a drink. After they identified a phone number in the victim's phone that belonged to David. During the call, defendant claimed he had spoke to the victim last on February 13 or 14 of 2024, but he stated he was unaware that she was a minor or that she had been reported missing. Now, the RCSD advised him that the LA Sheriff's Department deputies will be coming to his home on that day. The defendant was living at Doheny Place, the one that we see that he dismembered her in the garage. Police department requested that LASD conduct a welfare check at David's home. The deputies then went to the defendant's home that night at 8:15 p.m. and informed him that the 13-year-old victim was a 13-year-old runaway. The defendant again claimed he was unaware that she was a minor and had only met the victim one time in person in November of 2023. However, the defendant showed deputies a yearbook photo of the victim he had on his cell phone. Although he claimed to be unaware of where the victim was at the time, she returned home just 2 days later. Despite being informed by law enforcement the victim was only 13, defendant continued to pursue her. After the victim returned home in February of 2024, her parents took her cell phone away. They grounded her, guys. But David instead, and we have this documented, you guys will see it later, David drove to Lake Elsinore and he paid a junior high school student in the victim's class $1,000. Okay, he gave this kid $1,000 to give Celeste a cell phone purchased by him so he could stay in contact with her when the parents grounded her. Now, throughout 2024, the victim spent a significant amount of time with the defendant, including summer weekends at his home in Hollywood Hills, guys, and traveling with him to Las Vegas, London, and Texas to meet his family. I just can't fathom how he met she met the family and went all over and nobody said nothing. Nobody knew anything. His parents met her and they knew. She was very childlike, guys. All right. So text messages between the victim and the defendant contain references to sex, pregnancy, abortion, and the use of Plan B, emergency contraceptive. There's also explicit photographs documenting and corroborating their sexual relationship, right? The CSAM. Now, in November of 2024, the defendant and the victim broke up. Although they continued to communicate and text message suggests they also continued to have the sexual relations. On April 23rd, 2025, fast forward to a year later, it's likely the date of the victim's death and when all of her cellular activity ceased. Now, the night prior to April 22nd, 2025, the defendant and the victim engaged in a lengthy argument described in detail in their text messages, guys. Please have all of those. The message reveals the victim's jealousy over the defendant's relationship with other women As the defendant led her to believe that they had a future together, she became extremely upset and threatened to disclose damaging information about her relationship with the defendant to end his career and destroy his life. Now, the defendant's first studio album, guys, keep this in mind, all right? This is his first studio album and his big rise to fame. It was released 2 days after they alleged that Celeste was killed by him on April 25th, 2025. He had an emerging multi-million-dollar career already in progress. He had also had multiple product endorsements, which were highly profitable, right? Now, at 8:40 p.m. on April 23rd, the defendant sent an Uber to transport the victim from Lake Elsinore to his residence. They then communicated before and during her Uber ride, which dropped her off at the defendant's Hollywood home around 10 p.m., 10 p.m. At approximately 10:30 p.m., the defendant sent text messages to the victim inquiring where was she. Right? That's just 20 minutes after. So we can kind of narrow down when he killed her. He waited for her to get there and then took her life. Now listen, if Uber dropped her off at 10:10 and at 10:30 he's texting Celeste, where are you? And both phones are pinging at the same location, then between 10:10 and 10:30 is probably when he killed Celeste. Now, the people contend that this was part of the premeditated plan to cover up the murder, as she was already dead by this time, that 20-minute time frame. Knowing he had to silence the victim before she ruined his music career, as she had threatened, very soon after her arrival at his home, defendant stabbed the victim to death multiple times and stood while she shed blood out. At the time, at no time did he call law enforcement or 911 to take her to an emergency room or attempt to save her life. Despite knowing she was dead and her family was trying to find her, the evidence will show that the defendant lied and claimed he didn't know where she was. In fact, the defendant drove to Santa Barbara County immediately after the victim died, attempting to dispose of her property and destroy her evidence. At approximately 11:30 p.m. that night on April 23rd, he drove away from his home as he texted and called the victim's phone, asking where she was. Again, these were acts calculated and planned to set up his defense with a very short timeline. After the victim's vicious murder, defendant then drove his Tesla north on 101 to San Marcos Pass Road. That's near the 154 and Lake. I don't know how to say that. Lake Cajuma in Santa Barbara County. And I'm from California. I don't know. He returned home the following morning on April 24th before going to a radio interview for the release of his album that week. He sent 2 additional texts to the victim that day, which obviously went unanswered because she was already dead. On April 26th, the defendant never attempted to contact her again. All right. Tellingly, the defendant subsequently purchased tools out to carry out his plot to dismember and dispose of the victim's body. All right. I want you to remember this. Her life was gone allegedly on April 23rd, and he didn't do this. He didn't get his stuff until May 1st. On April 24th, he ordered a shovel from Home Depot that was delivered from Postmates. This guy's an idiot. On May 1st, the defendant then ordered and subsequently Amazon delivered 2 chainsaws to his home. Now, May 5th, the defendant ordered more. Amazon subsequently delivered a body bag, a heavy-duty laundry bag, and a blue inflatable pool to his home. There's the mysterious blue plastic. Now, he purchased these under a fake name, Victoria Mendez, on May 8th. The defendant returned to the same area in Santa Barbara County, leaving his home around 11:30 at night. He then returned to the area again on May 31st, 2025. This is an isolated site off of SR 154 where the victim's identification was subsequently discovered in January of 2026, guys. They followed that location and they actually found her ID where he threw all her shit. Isn't that crazy? We didn't know about any of this, obviously. Additionally, 3 days after 4th of July, July 7th, the defendant then ordered and subsequently Amazon delivered a burn cage to his home. I think he planned to burn her, but he didn't. I just don't think he knew what he was doing or how to use it, guys, because this is months after she was already dead and he got all of his stuff. It just doesn't make sense. So he also put that under a fake name as part of his plan to incinerate evidence. Moreover, the defendant took horrifying measures to destroy and discard the victim's body. After placing her body into a blue inflatable pool to prevent her blood from spilling onto his garage floor, the defendant used a chainsaw and perhaps other tools to cut off her limbs. Small blue plastic fragments were found embedded in the victim's remains, which were collected by the LA County Medical Examiner's Department. The fragments were analyzed by LAPD Forensic Science Division Trace Analysis Unit. An expert was able to take a physical fit match from the blue fragments to the blue inflatable pool that was purchased by the defendant in May of 2025. In order to distance himself from the victim, he amputated her left ring and pinky finger because her ring finger contained a tattoo of his name. Her fingers have not been recovered. The defendant then placed her head and torso in the cadaver bag that he had purchased. He then placed her limbs into a garbage bag, which he disposed or deposited into the front trunk, laying the cadaver bag on top. For several weeks or possibly months, the defendant left the victim's body to decompose inside of the Tesla. He lied to friends, business associates, and others who had noticed the strong smell of decay in and around his home and vehicle. Now, I showed you guys a video previously of that. He was in the house with Neo and Asia, and they're like saying, it stinks in here. And he's like, somebody farted. He was always making excuses like that because decomp is not something that you wouldn't smell. That's bad. Before leaving on the concert at the end of July, he then parked his Tesla around the corner from his home. And then there you have it. He was on tour and we heard about Celeste. Now, LAPD served a search warrant at the defendant's home on Doheny Place on September 17th of 2025. After the victim was identified by LA County Medical Examiner on September 16th, inside the garage, detectives discovered the evidence consistent with dismemberment of the body, the victim's body in the inflatable pool, which contained multiple linear cuts. So several biological samples which tested positive for blood were collected within the garage area. DNA analysis determined that various samples matched the victim's unique genetic profile. On December 9th, 2025, the medical examiner ruled the victim's death as a homicide caused by 2 penetrating injuries to the torso. On January 17, 2025, the victim's U.S. passport card was found by a Caltrans worker off of SR 154 in Santa Barbara County. Now we're going to get to the evidence. So I hope you guys are here with me. Before we get into the evidence, let's do this. And then we'll get into the evidence. I want to talk about some other things and I can give it a break. The evidence is bad as well, but I want to interact and see what's going on with you guys. And I want you to see what was going on with Celeste at the time. What are When was the last time she was seen, etc., etc. All right. The cops were called to Celeste's home, guys, at least 11 times. Okay. And then I'm going to come back to the evidence. So we'll switch back and forth, and I'll finish it off with the evidence after I show you this. Celeste Rivas would take off and come back, neighbor said. All right. This was not a new thing. So I just want you to kind of see what's going on. We're not going to do the whole thing.
The Sheriff's Department responded to calls about Celeste's family or from Celeste's family about 11 times in a little over a year. The dates are February 2024
Damn,
to
dude.
April 2025. And remember, the family reported Celeste missing for the last time in
Thank
April of
you.
2024. So those calls continued for a year while she was ostensibly missing. And until this week, we believe that April of 2024 was the last time that they'd seen each other, right? Celeste and her family.
Shout out to Dr. Vanna's in the house. And Golden Hen, thank you so much. This is the definition for special circumstances for the death penalty. 110%. And he wrote his own road map straight to the death penalty and straight to hell. Let's be honest, right? Hey, Dr. Vanna, good to see you. I did watch the video that you made, and I will cover that, but I don't think I can cover it all today. But go sub up to Dr. Vanna, guys. She's awesome, and she's in chat. And we will have to collab as well at some point because, well, she's a doctor, and I'm not. I'm just a person that reads documents and plays videos, all right?
But now we know different. And I'm going to come back to that in a hot minute. All of the police visits were listed as, quote, minor crime investigation, except for one of them. And that one was described as, quote, suspicious circumstances. Again, no details available from the police, but the dates of these calls speak volumes. 3 of the calls happened on one day.
There she is,
March
guys.
19th, 2024, which, by the way, yeah, that's the day that Celeste ran away. She was caught on surveillance camera in a neighborhood liquor store running down the street at 7 a.m. The black car was seen pulling out after her, but it's not clear if Celeste had gotten into it. This was just something that happened that the liquor store owner saw, but it wasn't caught on tape. 2 of the 3 visits that day were to Celeste's home. Cops came to her home 2 times, but the 3rd visit that police made was to that liquor store. Celeste's sister also visited that liquor store on that day and asked to review that surveillance video. One of the other police visits that TMZ documented was at 9:29 p.m. on April 5th, 2024. That time is about a half hour after the family reported her missing to the police for the very last time. So they report her missing at 9 p.m. and at 9:30 the police are at their door. Officially, Celeste was still missing.
So you see what's going on here? That was the last time she was seen. She wasn't really missing technically. Mary Beth, good to see you. Haven't been able to catch a live, but I'm glad you're here as well. All right. And I don't know about what we will get into that. The Dr. Vanna covered a really good, she made a really good video about about the whole, his alter ego thing, which I'd love to share, but I can't right this second. I know. So you guys gotta admit the parents tried. I don't know what the disconnect was between getting her to stay home. I have no idea. But let me just show you the video. That was a video from her last night. Again, guys, she was never missing. They knew where she was.
Of 2024, that's 5 months after she supposedly ran off for the last time. And it's also one day after her 14th birthday.
Yes.
Amazingly, the coincidence here is that it was 1 year to the day that her remains were discovered in David's trunk. This video was shot and released by neighbors. A different neighbor who heard the argument spoke with our Banfield producers on the ground in Lake Elsinore just today.
The first time I saw her, she was walking down the street early in the morning. It was during the colder months, I remember. It was just a 1 second. I was driving down the street and I saw her like big, beautiful curls. I was like, oh, that little girl's so pretty. And then I just went on my way. But that was probably like maybe 6 months before she went missing the first time in February.
All right. So what I wanted to show you was that she wasn't really missing. And yes, allegedly, not only did the family get paid off, but several friends and probably his groupies as well. All right. You wonder if there are there are Golden Hen. I'm going to tell you right now, there are. I'm going to have to say that I'm going to speculate that in those 10 terabytes of CSAM, it's going to be all children. It's going to be Celeste, the other girls that he was doing that to, that she referred to, and anybody and anything. I bet you there's some really sick, twisted CSAM inside of his, on that terabyte, in those terabytes. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right, let's pull this down and get back to the reading. I just wanted you to see her for, well, that was the last time. And the story is much different hearing it from this point of view. All right, here's the evidence that they got. Now, I want you guys to realize that he's literally writing a roadmap directly to the death penalty with all of the evidence and the digital evidence, the forensics, all of that. I mean, he did it to himself. All right. The people will present the following evidence at the preliminary hearing, including, but not limited to, the description of photographs depicting the victim naked. That's Celeste, guys, as well as while she was engaged with the defendant in the actual activity when she was 13. All right. As this evidence constitutes CSAM, someone asked what that was earlier. You guys can see what CSAM is. The photographs themselves will not be presented, thankfully. While all possible charges that could be proven were not filed, the CSAM is proof of their ongoing relationship, which is not him graping her, but they call it an ongoing sexual relationship when she was 13 and 14 years old. Now, this is all evidence. This is not presumption. I'm not reading anymore what they put together happened. This is the evidence that they have. Numerous text messages. This is all coming out in court between the defendant and the victim, evidencing their sexual relationship, pregnancy, abortion, and use of Plan B, emergency contraception. Messages throughout March of 2025 prove that the defendant continued to manipulate the victim. As she messaged, "All we do is have sex and just hang out, man. I want more than that for myself." These messages were obtained from the defendant's iCloud data. Again, I think she aged out for him. He wanted a younger girl that wasn't going to talk and be passive. And she threatened that. He said, done. Now, listen, the evidence also shows the defendant's cellular activity and communications derived from the defendant's iPhone and the Tesla. Man, this guy, which demonstrates the defendant's activities from April 22nd to April 24th, including a trip to Santa Barbara in the middle of the night after the victim arrived at his Hollywood Hills home. And I bet you they have footage somewhere of her arriving at the home, going in, but never leaving. Surveillance video of the defendant driving his Tesla on July 29th for the last time before parking the vehicle and leaving on tour at the end of July. So this is what they're going to present. They're going to show the surveillance of David getting into that car and driving away and parking it and leaving it there. They also have DNA evidence developed from the bloodstains collected from the defendant's garage, which matches the victim's genetic profile. They also have proof of the defendant's Amazon purchases and deliveries to his residence, including 2 chainsaws, a body bag, an inflatable pool, a heavy-duty laundry bags, a burn cage after April 24th, 2025. So first he took her life, and then afterwards he got all of this stuff delivered, ordered, etc. Now, more evidence, proof of the defendant's purchase and delivery from Postmate of a shovel from Home Depot to his home on April 24th, 2025. That's the day after. Uber records also showing the defendant's transactions where he ordered an Uber to pick up the victim from her Lake Elsinore home and transport her to his residence on the night of April 23rd, 2025. They're also going to show us proof of the defendant's lucrative career as a singer and songwriter prior to April 23rd, 2025, The defendant had an album party release on the night of April 24th before embarking on an international tour in late July of 2025. Also, text messages exchanged between the defendant and the victim on April 22nd and 23rd, 2025, where the victim, Celeste, threatened to expose the defendant and destroy his career. Right? In conclusion, this brief is filed to assist the court in understanding the scope and relevance of the evidence the prosecution intends to present at the preliminary hearing. The prosecution has issued numerous subpoenas and is prepared to proceed with the preliminary hearing. The defense has multiple opportunities to request a continuance and has not done so. Furthermore, California Penal Code requires the defense to provide at least 2 court days notice to request a continuance. In view of the limited scope of evidence to be presented at the preliminary hearing detailed in this brief, there should be no substantial impediment moving forward with the hearing as scheduled. Date 29th of April 2026. All right. And then this is the just a proof of service. Nathan Hochman. What is this? State of California versus the defendant. And underside the penalty of perjury. Los Angeles, the People's Brief regarding preliminary hearing evidence by electronic mail, appointed to counsel Regina, Blair Burke, and Maryland. So they do need preliminary hearing evidence. They haven't asked for much. They haven't requested much. They haven't filed any motions that make sense. But this was all executed yesterday on April 29th, 2026. All right. So we got through the document. Yay. David documented every detail of this murder. I want to get into that. All right, let's do this. How's everybody doing? Come on, guys. How y'all doing? Good to see you. There's that garage, by the way. That is the garage. He won't eat and can barely walk. Wait, what happened, Mab? What happened? Is your dog sick? Oh, no. Mab, that happened to me. This last year that happened to me. Our dog died when we were in the RV, out in the RV. So prayers to you. This is horrible, and especially right now when we're talking about this. I know, Jordan. I know. All right, he was less than smart. I think he was hopped up on a bit of everything, guys. I really do. Not only is he dark. And when I say dark, like a dark energy, but I think he just went down that path. All right, well, go take care of your buddy. Prayers to you. I didn't get a chance to put my dog down because we rushed to the emergency room, and by the time we got there, he stopped breathing. So, anyway, prayers to you, Mab. It's always a hard thing. Yep, my dogs both made it to 15. That's all we can ask for. All right, back to it. That's the garage that he used to dismember Celeste. They have evidence there, etc., etc. All right. And then those are the alleged items that he purchased. Again, this is just an AI photo, but this is what he did. He put her body in the pool so it wouldn't get all over the place in the garage. Bought the bags, 2 chainsaws, shovel. That's essentially what went down. This gets worse and worse the further we go. All right, I'm going to introduce you to this guy, which I've never seen before, but I always like to introduce people. This guy's name is Sauce, and this is the documented detail of Celeste, right? Let's take a look at what he has to say.
A few days ago, on April 16th, LAPD arrested 21-year-old music artist David Burke, also known as D4vd, and he's currently on trial for first-degree murder and a slew of charges.
More than 7 months after investigators found a dismembered body inside his car, the pop singer David was in a Los Angeles court today answering to charges of murder.
Today, I am announcing the charges against David Anthony Burke in connection with the brutal and horrific murder of Celeste.
I'm sure most of you guys have heard about this case, or at the very least know of David through his music. He blew up back in 2022 for his hit song, ironically titled Romantic Homicide.
I didn't kill her physically, but in the back of my mind, she died.
I killed you and died.
Now, I want you guys to pay attention to him as we go. I want you to pay attention to him getting darker and darker, okay? So when you start to see him, he's kind of humbled. He's a little humbled in the beginning, right? I've seen some videos where he's in his closet trying to make a song, and what do you mean not sauce? Saucy skins? We like the sauce. All right, I saw him a little bit humbled when he first started, but this guy's head grew and grew and grew. He grew to such a monster that he doesn't even look like that same person to me anymore because he's so covered in darkness. Does anyone else know what I mean by that? Mr. Who did that? 40 images, terabyte against you. That is, you is just crazy. And did you see the evidence? It's not even 40. There's 50 terabytes. 10 which contain CSAM. All right. Yeah, I mean, this happened before. This song and all this came out before. In the back of my mind, I killed you, and I didn't even. It was like he was already planning it out, and he wanted to do it. Right? That was his alter ego. He had an alter ego issue. All right, but look, he still looks kind of humbled a little.
I didn't even regret it. I can't believe I said it, but it's true. I hate you.
See, I don't even want to sing that song anymore, or any of his other songs, to be frank. The lyrics just all sound eerie at this point.
It was something I decided to do. I killed you. It's really more of a figurative I killed you. I try to stress that in the back of my mind. So I say it so loud. In the back of my mind, you died. In the back of my mind, I killed you.
But like I said, the dude was massive, guys. 20 million monthly Spotify listens. He was the anthem for Fortnite, millions of fans, touring. He was very much a massive up-and-coming music artist, right? But if you really dig into some of his work, it's not far-fetched to say his whole music discography might have just been a murder manifesto.
Now, listen, this is why I'm saying he literally documented the killing of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. I know that my ears too, but you gotta be with it all. I agree about the demon. Yeah, what's up with that? We have 281 people in here and y'all don't like it? Only 167 likes, and you guys want to call in. I know you want to call in and talk about this because there's a lot. All right? There's a lot. Yeah, he can't sing for shit. He does suck. Dog farts sound better than that. Well, Wesley, come on in, my friend. Hit that like button. Stick around. Panda Ann throws out the 169 with 281 in the house. Now, listen, what we're talking about is him documenting the killing of Celeste. I'm going to tell you right now, the chances of all of this making it into court are very likely. All right? As much as I've watched prosecutors, ex-FBI, and all kinds of stuff we're going to see today, everybody says that he put everything. Not only did he document it, maybe not on purpose, he documented it and then left a trail that he thought was not documented. So he might as well, like I said, have just filmed it for us and showed us what he did and then just put his hands out and get handcuffed, right?
Thank you for being with us.
I mean, does everybody not? Am I the only one that notices every single video has somebody that looks like Celeste? Can we please check to see if it's true that he's being held at? He is Wolfpack. I don't, if anyone wants to check, I've already checked several times and I was going to cover that. He absolutely is at the Twin Tower Medicals unit where Nick Reiner is. Unless they moved him today, then yes, he is. Anyone else want to? Yeah, that's a big deal. It's a big deal that he's there where Nick Reiner is. So certainly I can triple check for you if you like, or if anyone wants to dig in. Yeah, absolutely. I'll check for you. I don't mind. But yes, I've already seen it. They made a huge deal out of it because those two are at the same facility.
As we follow this story, police responded to a report of a foul odor coming from a Tesla that was impounded at Hollywood Tow Service in Los Angeles.
Now, if you didn't know, this case broke to the public on September 8th, 2025, when news surfaced that LAPD had found remains of a 14-year-old girl in a Tesla that was registered to David's name. The vehicle was originally towed to an impound lot just a few days prior, and according to reports, a tow yard worker had reported a foul odor coming from the vehicle. LAPD arrived to the scene and discovered a heavily decomposing and partially dismembered body in the front trunk of the Tesla.
In the trunk, investigators found the unthinkable: human remains.
Now, at the time, reports had came out stating that the body was, quote unquote, at an advanced stage of decomposition. We're talking weeks to months, that there is no way it could be identified at the scene without forensic help. Now, initially, when news broke, nobody really thought David had anything to do with it. I mean, he was an up-and-coming star, lots of fame, lots of connection. I'm sure he was racking in a lot of money. Like, what would be the motive, right?
The LAPD is not calling the death criminal. The agency does not have a crime classification as to the mode or manner of death.
On top of the fact that he was currently on tour at the time and had been on tour for months, far away from the crime scene. And even after news had broken to the public that a body was found.
Even after that, guys, I was expecting, listen, now, I never knew who David was. Now, I just verified that as well. Yes, both Nick Reiner and David are being held at the same facility at the Twin Towers Correctional Facility in Los Angeles. Multiple independent reports confirm that they are housed in the same jail, though it's not clear if they're in the same unit. Maybe that's what you're asking. Both men are incarcerated at the Twin Towers Correctional Facility while awaiting trial. Nick Reiner has been held since December 2025, and David was just transferred there after being arraigned in the murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas. Reports emphasize that while they are in the same facility, they may not be in the same unit. All right? Is that good? All right, let's continue.
In a car registered to his name, he would still be spotted performing on tour later that night and seemingly fairly unfazed by the whole ordeal. Now, around that same time, probably as he was performing, the internet has started to make their speculations. A Reddit user had posted a very eerie comment in response to all the news.
This guy's a weirdo. A close friend's little sister ran away last year, and this is who she was with. She was in 7th grade at the time. LAPD swept this place in the hills. I'm terrified that that's who's in the car. Nobody has heard from her in months. I won't release any names as she's still a minor, but she was from Lake Elsinore.
Which, mind you, at the time, nobody has yet identified the body. Nobody had a clue who the person was.
Tonight, more than a week after a body was found inside an impounded Tesla, Los Angeles investigators identifying the remains as...
We've gotten there. We don't
When LAPD discovered her body.
Who had just turned 15.
Now, here's the other thing. Here's one of the biggest tales of guilt, right? He's documenting all of this. All right. You never knew that. I never knew this nut either. I didn't know him until this happened. And I say that to say this. All right. I say that to say this. He blew up for the wrong reasons. And now he got the attention for this particular thing for taking the life of Celeste, allegedly. But listen to this. David's family met Celeste several times. He took her to the home, met the parents. The parents knew David, etc., etc. There's lots of communication, lots of texting. The phone that's his gave to her. And this guy's on tour. And this girl that met his family and everybody at this point knows that David knows Celeste. Doesn't say one word about her. No, my condolences to the family. Not a thing. Instead, he goes on stage and cries. And yeah, he cleans sneakers in the video with the blood, but he does off the wall shit. And I mean, that's a huge part. If I were a juror and I saw this guy on the same day out there singing after the breaking news came that this girl Celeste was found decomposed and dismembered in my car, I would at least say, condolences to the family. This is terrible, whatever. He didn't say a effing thing. He just continued. He didn't cancel his concerts. They had to make him cancel the concerts. All right. I know. Horrific. All right, let's continue.
The day before her body was found.
She would have been 15 years old on the day that she was discovered.
I mean, that's as fluky freaky synchronicity as you can get. Now, that wouldn't be the only coincidence in the case. See, prior to them identifying who it was, he was still on tour, fairly cooperating with detectives, all that good jazz. The minute the identity was announced, he officially canceled all his remaining tours. LAPD detectives raided his house and collected a few electronics and several bags of evidence. Now, the victim had been reported missing for a whole year at this point. She apparently ran away when she was 13, last seen with David. TMZ would do an interview with the victim's mother, who also confirmed that her daughter had a boyfriend named David. They both even have matching tattoos on their right index finger. I know here it says she was 15.
Well, basically, what I'm trying to show here is that this is all documented. David documented the killing of Celeste Rivas, and he documented it before he ever even did it, which makes me believe that he was going to do that to somebody at some point, but he definitely picked the wrong girl to do that to. All right. And he was allegedly, and we don't know yet, he was allegedly having relations with graping other underage children, and that's what caused Celeste in that video to say what, like graping children or graping kids, right? She knew that he was having relations with other younger children. Yeah, I do agree, and they should also check the financial records. I think that should seal the deal. If the parents were letting her go there and having they were having a financial exchange with David, they should absolutely be charged with even more than that. All right, let's continue. Hold on, I didn't mean to go backwards.
That she went missing. Last seen with him, oddly enough, someone had posted a photo that
There
they
it
had
is.
taken with David, allegedly stating that in the photo he was paying off some kids to keep quiet about her age. And
now, guys, that's in the document that I just read for you right now. And this is not a document that someone just made up and was like, let me just write a story about what happened today. Here's what happened. All right. That didn't happen. What did happen is everything that he did was documented, and he gave this guy a bag, or gave this guy $1,000 with cash. I don't know if it was in the bag, to give Celeste a cell phone so that she can run away back to him. All right. Now, that's trafficking. That's absolutely trafficking with a money exchange. And it's right freaking here. David literally documented everything. This is the new generation, guys. We're going to see more and more cases like this.
Taken with David, allegedly stating that in the photo he was paying off some kids to keep quiet about her age. And this was around the same time she went missing. And the location of the photo was also very close to where she resided. And then obviously the car in the crime scene was registered in his name, which prior to it being towed and impounded, it was parked 1 minute away from his house in the Hollywood Hills. The evidence was substantial. He was going to be the main suspect, or at the very least, there's no way he could not have known nothing about the situation, right? And that was pretty much all the info anyone knew about this case back in September. There was a lot of incriminating evidence, but also a lot of speculation. But no charge or arrest had yet been made until now.
Houston-based artist David Burke amassed over 100 million streams and is only 17 years old.
His music's terrible. I can't take it.
It's going to obscure my view from the gate.
And you guys know this is the arrest footage from TMZ. We've seen it several times. All right. Now he's in court. I wish we could see him moving forward, but now all we get is drawings. Again, he looks much darker here. He's wearing these weird color gray contacts, and he doesn't have any kind of emotion at all. All he does is blink. He frowns once when they say something about the actual killing, but that's about it.
And charged with first-degree murder, and he pleaded not guilty. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I would have these phases where I'm binging a lot of very niche content, things like saltwater crocodiles, cold cases, unsolved crime mysteries. And if there's anything I learned from all of these criminal cases, it's usually that when a case is taking this long to make an arrest, is GG. Like, these guys are not sitting around playing hopscotch. It's usually because the case is so disturbingly evil, like monstrous act, that there's no way they're leaving it up to chance for this man to be acquitted of any of these charges.
So you guys have to know that all of the time that we were talking about this, he did, Gigi. He messed with the wrong Latina. That's for sure. I'm sure she fought to the death. David is definitely not the sharpest tool in the shed. That's why he needed to have his sharp tool / knife that he's bragging about. I call him Bonnet Boy, Janet says. Golden Hen, thank you so much for the 1999, Jay. What's the chance of him copping a plea to not get the death penalty like Koberger and the Gilgo killer plea deal? The chances are huge now. How does this happen and why? I'm going to tell you right now. The moment that I heard that the defense has not requested more time, the defense has not requested for any of the evidence to be unsealed. All right. They haven't filed motions for anything except a haircut and clothes. Leads me to believe, and we are going to continue. We're going to have a conversation about this. I'm not going to leave you guys hanging without talking with a lawyer or a person about what's going to happen next. Guys, I got to tell you, and I hate to tell you this, but the chances are highly likely that he's going to, that they're going to offer him a plea instead of the death penalty. We're in California. The death penalty exists, but it's on a hold right now. So even if he were to get the death penalty, yeah, it's on a moratorium in California. And there's going to be a new governor coming in soon. So the chances are high, Golden Hen. Let's pay attention to the next hearings and see what happens. If they don't file motions for to unseal evidence, if they don't do the things that a defense should do, then they're absolutely planning on trying to get a plea deal. All right. Now, we also have not seen the charges for the CSAM yet. That could be a whole other trial in itself. All right. Hence, Stephen Stearns and Matty Soto. All right. They just pushed that out of the way. He pled guilty to the CSAM because nobody wanted to see that, and you can't unseal that in court. So he's either going to get more charges or they're going to have a separate trial. But I do think that his defense is, I mean, with all this evidence and them not doing anything, his so-called music to be rated so kids cannot see it. But then again, most platforms are dropping him anyway. Yes, they are. Thank goodness. Our stupid state loves criminals. They never fight hard enough for the victims. I agree. And you know what? They could have saved Celeste. This could have not happened. They had 11 times they went back and forth to the house. They knew where she was. Celeste was not missing. Do you hear me? Celeste was not missing. They knew where she was. It's on a hold in Ohio too. Yeah, Jailhouse Justice. This guy's a little guy. You can put him in your pocket, little. All right, and he's not talented. And I hope that they don't give him any kind of lube, petroleum jelly, or Vaseline.
When it takes 7 months to finally make an arrest, and
You know
hear
why
them
now?
prosecuting for the max. Like they're throwing the whole book at this dude.
Life without the possibility of parole.
Or the death penalty.
You're cooked. It's over. GG. We're talking undeniable, bulletproof evidence beyond a reasonable doubt.
All they have to do is present probable cause that a murder was committed and that David committed it. That's all they have to show.
Now, as far as the motive for the crime, I think it's pretty obvious what the motivation most likely was.
Committing this crime for financial gain.
Obviously, she went missing in 2023 when she was 13, most likely running away from her current home situation. And remember, David really started getting some motion in 2022. And in 2023, he was snowballing as far as his fame, career. He was getting lots of brand deals, appearances, features. His album at the time broke into the Billboard charts. I mean, dude was making a lot of noise. He was making a lot of motion. So more than likely, he did what he did to silence any shot of word getting out and destroying his career, his recent rise to stardom. I mean, the key thing here that really sticks out is the DA office charging him with murdering a witness in an investigation.
Or murdering a witness in an investigation.
But this was even documented, guys. That was everything is documented. All right. The fact that he knew that law enforcement had a case pending regarding Celeste Rivas missing. All right. She's missing. Everybody knew she was missing, but they knew where she was. He still had the audacity to spend how much money on a ride? 80 what did they say, 80-mile ride from Lake Elsinore to his home, allegedly by himself, and she never walked out of that house again. All right. And I hope somebody that got a membership needed one. All right, I just gifted a membership. Well, if David blew up the inflatable pool, you know he'll be blowing a lot of D's in that prison. Oh yeah, he's also by his own by his own doing. I'm pretty sure he's openly bisexual. So maybe maybe Big Bubba will take care of him. I mean, his parents knew as well. Both parents knew, and she still ended up dead. Why?
So it sounds to me like they were already looking into him, most likely for the missing of Celeste. And this closely aligns to allegedly what Celeste's brother has said in a DM leak. As far as reporting his sister running away to be with David at the time, all I could say is if I heard my missing 13-year-old daughter was with some grown man, and it wasn't even like David was living off grid or he was hiding or nobody knew where he lived. He was big enough where you could find him if you really wanted to. Come hell or high water, LAPD's help or not, I can assure you she would not be missing for a week, let alone a year.
That's the part that's upsetting to me too, is that her family knew where she was, all while she's supposedly a missing person. And so it's all very frustrating. There's a lot of things, a lot of failures. They knew who he was. I understand she's probably a handful. I get that. But the thing is, she's a kid.
And this is no shade, all due respect.
So I want you guys to realize that finally we're hearing what's happening and everything is documented. You mad, funny Jay. What did I do? What did I do? Why is this live? Mandy Official says, why is this live? What does that mean? What did I do? What did I do? She was let down by so many people. Red flags, red flags. All right, let's continue. We have a lot more to go. So I also do want to show you, we're going to absolutely have to listen to an interview that Private Eye, that the Private Eye had been, he'd been working the hardest on it. SF Investigates, Steve Fisher has been the most vocal about this case. We wouldn't have learned most of what we learned, and I feel like the push wouldn't have been as hard if SF Investigates, Steve Fisher wasn't out there doing it. So I gotta give kudos to him, whether you like him or not. All right? Why is this live? And his parents are, well, his parents knew too. And his parents even said they knew he was going to be arrested. That's why they moved the assets into their name. They knew it. All right. All right, let's continue. Why wouldn't Jay be live? Right? Why wouldn't I?
Respect to her family, I'm sure they had their reasons. But as far as David goes, with the recent reports, I mean, the odds are stacked against him. The prosecution here is saying that there's an overwhelming amount of evidence against David.
We have been given almost no discovery thus far. We've received a 3-page follow-up report, no autopsy report.
Your Honor, as I indicated to counsel, there's approximately 40 terabytes of discovery. Counsel has to file a motion. She knows the way the system works. I'm not able to gather those.
40 terabytes of evidence. Let me just put that into perspective. My whole YouTube career, spanning across years,
This man's whole career.
is within a 2 terabyte memory bank. And they're out here saying 40 terabytes of incriminating evidence just for this case?
I just told you guys that too. Like 2 days ago when I covered this case, I literally have what he just showed. I have a 2 terabyte external hard drive, and I've been streaming with y'all for the last over 2 years. I'm not even halfway done with 2 terabytes, guys. It's like about this bit. What you just saw is what I have. What was he doing? He seemed like he was kind of a loner and a drifter. Do you guys like, although he had groupies around and friends, he always seemed like he was like something going on right here. And as the time went over, he just seemed so dark. Like he hung out in the house just by himself doing weird ass shit. Kind of like Jeffrey Dahmer. You know how Jeffrey Dahmer just did weird ass shit? Like, why in the hell do you want to inject some dude with something chemical and then play with their body and keep their head and put in the, like, that's just weird. It's demonic, but it's also just weirdo shit. You know what I'm saying? All right, Jay, as much as we shout out SF, we need to shout out the homeowners for hiring SF. Well, shout out to the homeowners for hiring SF. There you go. Thank you. All right, let's continue. Crazy, man. Just a freaking pedo weirdo, man. The demon grew and multiplied. I mean, look at him. I'm looking at him over time, and it's like he's not even the same person.
You're cooked. It's over. GG. I can only assume it's got to be something heinous in those files. Like, the prosecution team is taking no chances on this case, as they should with David's defense team consisting of Blair Burke and her legal team, a powerhouse of a legal team. Blair Burke is widely known as the woman you throw money at to make your crimes disappear, vanish, thin air. Houdini. Her resume is deep. Harvey Weinstein, Marilyn Manson, Johnny Depp, Kanye, the list goes on. But to be frank with you, David's legal team is about to be a sweatshop trying to mitigate all 40 terabytes of evidence.
She's a fine lawyer, really good lawyer. She's really fucking expensive.
Bruce Rivers.
She ain't gonna try this case. She is not gonna be the lawyer at the end of this case.
Now, as of recent, the prosecution team dropped a bombshell of new charges, reporting that they had found CP in David's phone.
As prosecutors laid out these new disturbing allegations. What do I mean? They apparently found a, quote, significant amount of pornography on his phone.
I'm not a lawyer, nor am I equipped to be one, but I don't know of anyone in any multiverse, let alone Blair Burke and her legal team, defending against live video proof. And it's not like David was some sweet church boy that everybody just assumed could do no wrong. Like, he was very edgy in his approach.
You see, when a human being is drained of all of its blood, it becomes pale, lifeless. Media trained you. That's controversial.
It's controversial. It's controversial graping kids.
Sort of raping kids.
And the irony of it was that person that was saying, I love you, she's not in my life anymore. And that's why I wanted to put, Afterlife and all these songs that feel like endings and conclusions and goodbye.
Guys, this was 5 days after we heard that the message or the conversations between David. 5 days after he killed her. Her body's still laying around somewhere. Maybe it was in the damn the Dippin' Dots freezer that he had, or maybe he had her in a fridge somewhere, like a deep fridge. He kept her somewhere, and it wasn't somewhere that wasn't cool, because I assure you it would have been a lot worse. What's up, Royal Bitch X? Good to see you. 5 days later, he's talking about this. Now, the connections weren't made at that time because the evidence wasn't out there, but law enforcement was watching him and they saw this. All of this can be used in court. And that's why I don't think that he's going to be able to. I just don't see where the defense comes in. I know Diddy, look at Diddy, but Diddy's it's a whole different monster. And also Diddy's like probably a billionaire, not a millionaire. But David just got $3 million sign-on bonus for that tour that he had. So he's probably going to spend all of that on lawyers just to lock him up for life. Just saying. This is just, again, David documented every detail of killing Celeste.
I kind of solidified that message of this is the end of something. Because like I said, I kind of felt like it was a prophetic thing that I was speaking about.
I killed you. I can't believe I said it, but it's true.
That's like, yo, I really said this about myself 2 years ago. It's happened. Figuratively, spiritually, entire aesthetic of my entire being is like withered.
So withered is dying. So you're going into dust.
But this is like the closing of a chapter. So that's why the last track is called Afterlife. That's like the final blow. And it's such a poetic thing to kind of be able to kind of take somebody's life and put that in a song. And I wanted to make my own manga series. And a big part of that manga was an evil version of me named ITAMI, which means pain in Japanese. And he wears this blindfold and he's basically an agent of chaos and kind of my alter ego. And there was an evil version of myself that would kind of come out at random moments. He would commit the crimes that I would have to solve as a detective. I'd be like solving murders that I'm committing myself.
I can only assume that's got to be part of the 40 terabytes of incriminating evidence. Like, this is worse than rappers incriminating themselves.
I mean, yeah, this is worse than having a Bay Area rapper talk about doing a drive-by and then a drive-by coming and happening. I mean, this is like the ultimate. This is probably going to be one of those historical cases where you see the first time of et cetera, because, yeah, it sounds like he's joke singing. It's garbage. Yeah, right? Shut the... I mean, yeah, this generation is weird, and we've got to pay more attention to our children, because in my generation, I'm 46. So you guys are around the same. We've got anyone from 25 all the way up into their 70s here. When we were growing up, We didn't have to stay in the house, and we weren't afraid that Jeffrey Dahmer or serial killers. We weren't like it wasn't like this. We couldn't go out without being kidnapped or whatever was going on. All the shit that goes on now. We were allowed to do that. At 9 years old, I was riding my bike to my friend's house. And I mean, you can't do that with your kids anymore. So they get into this deep, dark, and it could be deep and dark if you don't pay attention, because the web takes you there, guys. So I do think that this is absolutely going to be a landmark case. Thank you for saying that. Yes, 63. Yeah, so you guys were riding bikes. We didn't have to have a freaking cell phone on us every second. I called you. Why didn't you call me back? I don't have an answer machine. I didn't know you called. On to the next thing I'm doing. Right now, it's like instant damn communication, and you can't get away from it. You didn't text me back. You didn't call me back. Why didn't you? Dear Lord. You know what I'm saying, though? Okay, let's continue. Different generation.
On lyrics. Like, this is a whole new level of just fucking yourself. I mean, some could go as far to say that this is simply just a manifestation of his internal arena.
I was like, man, I'm a prophet, bro. I just spoke it into my own life, like, you know.
Which, if there's anything I want you guys to take away from this video, is simply this: guarding your mind with the utmost care, protecting your energy, and continue to feed your mind daily with empowering ideas, thoughts, and beliefs. And secondly, if you have kids, keep an eye out if you think they're talking to somebody online. You know, cases like this really makes you wonder if invading your child's phone privacy is even a question at this point. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to protect your kids. There's no other option.
I'm so glad he said this, because that's what needs to be said. All right. You said I had a pager, and my mom used to blow mine up too. I did have a pager, but this wasn't until I was already driving. I was 16 and 17 with the pager, and then the cell phone and all that. All right. But when I was little, when I was Celeste's age and younger, I played, what did I play? Tetherball. I was like the tetherball champion at my school. I played tetherball so much that my hand was raw all the time, because people would be, you guys remember tetherball? People would challenge me and I'd win everybody. So then they'd be like, I challenge you at lunch. And so my hand got raw from playing tetherball. That's how much. All right. Yeah, you still a baby. No. But yes, I used to do that. I wasn't into the video games. We've got a Nintendo, and if my brother's still in chat, my mom would buy us a Nintendo for Christmas, but we'd only get one. So I'd let him play it because he was older. I'd be back there drawing pictures or playing with the cat outside or trying to find a tree to climb up. I didn't do that weird shit. Tetherball, baby. All right, let's continue.
Option. Now, as far as David goes, the preliminary hearing is scheduled to be on May 1st, just a couple days from now. Until then, legally, everything stated is alleged. But I mean, the amount of evidence that I've already read up, and this is all prior to what I can only imagine what the prosecution team is going to be dropping in the preliminaries. And this is not to take away anything from the victim or the unfortunate events, but it's going to be interesting to see Blair and the legal team's approach and how they plan to tackle all of this evidence.
40 terabytes.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about the case. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And remember to please keep it respectful to the family and her victim. Rest in peace to Celeste. I'll most likely be tuning in this Sunday to see the tell-all. So look.
All right. Now we do have to get into the Steve Fisher interview. And then, guys, I mean, we're getting close to the goal for sure. And then if you guys want to do a call-in after that, let's do it. All right, at 44, I'm in the same generation as Jay. I didn't have a cell phone when I was younger because people's cell phones didn't come out until 2000, right? My mom made me have a pager so that she can blow it up when I was out. And if I was late, you're late. Get your ass home. You don't want to cross Mama Pearl. I'll tell you that right now. Double Dutch. I know, man. I those were fun times, though. Yeah, during the day I was outside too. I didn't play Nintendo, or I played it, but I wasn't like obsessed with it. My brother was obsessed with it. He beat every game and then played again. I just wasn't into that. All right, let's get into the Steve Fisher thing because it's really important. And before we do that, I want to show you some posts that I looked at today from Steve Fisher before we hear from him. Let me see. Is that it? There it is. All right. So I reposted some stuff and I just wanted to show you. You guys should definitely, if you're not on X, go sub up. It's just at Guilty of Crime. I post stuff almost every day, all the time, and you'll see what my thoughts are on cases. All right. So, I mean, there's a lot about this guy. He's bared his evil soul for everyone to see in the name of art. Pseudo intellectual, talentless predator, entitled, cosseted, pretentious, allegedly. I'm so angry with this idiot. Yeah, I wanted to find a better picture of this, but I mean, this is what he was thinking about, and I think fantasizing about, guys. So SF Investigates made this timeline. This timeline is excellent. You guys should go check it out. It's the one I posted up earlier. All right. There's a huge surge of activity immediately after he allegedly took her life. And it's followed by a period of relative silence in the days leading up to the alleged dismemberment. All right. So, I mean, this just tells you all the things. And whoa, the timeline shows that he traveled to New York the next day that she was taken within a single day. He would have to have placed her body somewhere to later return nearly 2 weeks later on May 5th. So he took her life and then he dipped out to go do his interviews, get rid of evidence. He didn't come back for a couple of weeks, guys. Where do you think her body was? Then on May 5th, he posted from downtown Los Angeles, a chow mein truck visible in the background could be independently confirmed to have been operating in the area that date. Photographic evidence also shows that David and Celeste spent time in downtown earlier in the year. All right. So is there a connection between the downtown LA and her murder and the storage of the body and what's left? I don't know. All right. Let's see, what else do we got? Oh yeah. That just hours after prosecutors alleged that David killed Celeste Rivas, his management held a Withered album release party that began at 8 p.m. And boy, was he there. All right. All of his managers were likely in LA for the party. That the house that Celeste was lured to, guys. According to prosecutors, it was leased by his management company. So the question is, who knew what? And when did they know it? When did Neil realize? When did Asia realize that Celeste wasn't around, or it smelled, or what have you? April 23rd and 24th were not quiet days. Not quiet, uneventful. David had just performed at Coachella. That's a big deal, guys. His album was released and a party was being held in his honor. There were people around him and he was completely the center of attention. So it's difficult to believe that he had that much time completely alone. So who knew what and when, where? If you guys attended the party or know anyone, you guys heard anything, saw anything, definitely should reach out to LAPD. I think anybody would. I was listening to Fugitive TV last night, guys, and Fugitive TV actually called LAPD with some evidence about other children that David was graping. All right. So there is evidence and other children out there that are coming forward. They're coming forward about this. So anyway, there's the packages. There's where David actually knew that law enforcement was looking for Celeste. That's when they came to his house. All right. So that's when they first started looking at him. And then we just moved down to the different evidence, etc. All right, let's get into the Steve Fisher thing. And then I've got the phone line set up. So if you guys want to call in, let's get to the goal, and you guys can have your 2 cents. If not, we can always do it tomorrow. We can always do it.
This from her. This is a high profile trial. And for instance, she said that she does not do afternoon hours. She was making an exception for today, for the hearing that happened today, which is where I think this will find out for sure, not if it is going forward, but that this was not normal procedure, but she was doing it anyhow. So Now, if they were to come in on the first and say, we just didn't get the information.
Now, listen, let me tell you something. Let me just, I'm playing devil's advocate here. Roblox is dangerous, but Roblox is not where David met Celeste. It was Fortnite. Now, all of these games are dangerous, and it's not because they're dangerous within the game themselves. They're dangerous because in the game, these pedos and these perpetrators get them to go from Roblox and Fortnite to Discord and start sending inappropriate things. You actually can't talk inappropriately on Roblox or Fortnite. If you start typing in anything that they don't like, it just turns into this kind of stuff. If you post it, here it is. You go let your children, if you watch your children playing on Roblox or something, it comes up like that. You cannot see what they're saying, right? Yes, of course, Roblox and Fortnite are the gateway to Discord and probably 500 other games that I can list. The bottom line is the internet is dangerous, period. All right? I just don't want people to think, oh, just Roblox or Fortnite. Nah, any game that has the internet connected to it where you can communicate with people that are outside of your home and you don't know them are dangerous.
And so how can we go forward? Because they really didn't want the information right now. I think they're going to get called out on that. I think. I would imagine today will be the day that will. If I had to guess, I think it's going to get continued.
Let me ask you this, 54, 55 search warrants, is that unusual? I mean, that seems like a lot. And why, how specific do you think each one was? What do you think they were for?
Well, you definitely are going to have, Apple with iCloud and his individual devices. I can tell you that he does have a lot of actual devices, a lot of phones. And then you're going to have Google and stuff like that. But
you see how short he is? And not to say that I know how tall this girl is, but when you see him in photos with anybody else or like a regular sized man, he's tiny. All right. It's all dangerous. Absolutely. It's also dangerous to go ride your bike outside until the streetlights come on. Everything's dangerous. The world's dangerous, guys. And that's why we need spirituality and God. I'm not going to say religion. If you're into religion, then good. I hope you follow it. But as long as you have spirituality, God, Jesus, whatever it is, that's what we need, because this world really, truly is coming to an end, and we're creating our own demise with all the technology and instant communication. It's making people do things that we wouldn't normally do. I mean, I can open up my phone at any time now and see a family annihilator, takes out their whole family and takes their own lives. This happens all the time now. All right. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate that. Hit that like button, subscribe. Let's get to the goal. Yeah. So
there was a search warrant issued as late as April 20th, so after his arrest. And there was another one that looks like it falls on like the 5th or the 6th of April. So they were issuing search warrants right up. I think there was a total of 7 that I saw that were issued in 2026.
Do you think that's something he had on him at the time of the arrest, or something at the property where he was arrested?
I think they probably had some sort of I think that when they arrested him, they cataloged what was there, and then they got a warrant immediately, kind of like they did with the car.
You know what's crazy is that he knew they were watching him. Why in the hell did he have that 10 terabytes of CSAM? He really couldn't get rid of it. Ford was going to get away with it. Oh, he totally thought he was going to get away with it. Dumb, evil person. But then you got to look. Did he got away with it for years? David's in the wrong generation at the wrong time. Jay, he has dead people on the shirt and the number 97. I think that which is her birthday, or 98. Yeah, no, it is. I saw that. We showed the it was the Black Dahlia. It was her autopsy, and then I think it's 97. I think it was 97. Yeah, we went over that the last episode, and I am going to go over his evil that he's got this evil alter ego. I'm just not going to do it today because we'll be here for freaking 12 hours and I can't. Yeah, the Laughing Geisha brand clothing.
Originally, they went there, they verified that there was a smell in the car. They immediately got a search warrant to enter the car. Probably the same thing. And Beth alluded to that. Actually, she said that she didn't know at the time if there was going to be significance from those returns or not.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that those warrants also include materials possessed by other individuals that are not David?
Certainly, I definitely think there's going to be at least cloud type of data, other Facebook account or Instagram accounts, Meta, let's call it, and iCloud. They specifically leaned into iCloud a lot. They said that there was over 10 terabytes of data from one iCloud account. So, which, listen, I can kind of see, the guy's a musician, he's probably got a ton of music, ton of video, raw video and everything backed up there, but it's still a massive account. I've heard reports of them.
I mean, do you guys see though, like his eyes and like his whole appearance? I know he's growing up on, documenting he's growing up on camera essentially, but he's a little more humble looking when he started. His eyes seem a little softer. And as he gets more and more, and I totally agree that a lot of people in Hollywood sell their souls to the devil. Okay. They have too much money too fast. They don't know what to do with it. Nobody can tell them what they're going to do with it. And the thoughts that come in their head, it's like they're bored, right? We're sitting there worried about, oh, shoot, I got a water bill that I got to pay. Where's the leak for the damn thing? And these people are like, I have so much money and so many men and women throwing themselves at me and everyone praising me. I'm going to start thinking of some dark shit that nobody else is thinking of. It's like, it just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. We're thinking about our children and the field trip tomorrow or whatever. And this guy's just sitting there by himself, being a weirdo in the closet, thinking about what he's going to, or who he's going to kill, how he's going to get away with it. I think he fantasized about this 110%. I know he wore those damn clunky boots and his hair.
Saying 10 terabytes of child porn. I don't think that's the case. I think it's a 10 terabyte account. Yes, I think others are wrapped up in this.
So he was talking about the 10 terabytes. They said 10 terabyte account, but not necessarily 10 terabytes of CSAM on the account. Either way, it seems like he didn't try to do anything to hide any of this. He was just in plain sight, guys.
I think all his inner circle people have had all their accounts subject to search warrant by their social media accounts, and including his management.
I'm glad you mentioned, this is something we talked about previously. Prosecutors say he was in possession of child pornography. We don't know if it was allegedly of Celeste or someone else, but that was interesting and made me wonder if there could be federal charges on the horizon for him. Real quick, if they unseal these search warrants, you, me, everyone's going to be able to see them?
We'll be able to see who they were served upon, and we'll be able to see what the return was. Not saying the data, but the return filed by the police saying we recovered, this account, data from this account, whatever. We'll see it on a general basis. And we'll see who it was served upon, what they were looking for, and what the probable cause was, which is going to be the real tell in this thing, what the probable cause was to get the search warrant.
So back to the preliminary hearing, and we'll talk about it a little bit later on, because at the time of this recording, we haven't had the hearing yet.
No, I don't. Flojo, are you still? Well, anyone that's covering this, Flojo TV, Dr. Vana, do you know? I haven't heard a thing. They're supposed to have a pretrial hearing, right? They're supposed to have it. Is tomorrow or is it next week? Is tomorrow the 1st? I haven't seen anything get moved out. I don't think he thought he would get caught. No one was. They were looking for her, though. That's the thing, Crime Time Grime. The reason they even started looking into David at all is because law enforcement was called their house at least 11 times for her running away. They made contact with David, and they let him know that she was a minor. From that time on, they were investigating him and where she was. So it just doesn't make sense. I think the 12. All right, May 12th. What about May 12th? May 26th? Okay, May 26th. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Later today. Do you think this preliminary hearing is actually going to happen on Friday? And if it does, how much of the prosecution's case is going to be revealed and how much evidence?
So this just came out and they're talking about Friday, which means tomorrow. But you're saying that it would be, they moved it to the 26th. Is there going to be a hearing tomorrow? A status hearing. Okay, cool. Tomorrow. Let's see what happens. The 12th. So they moved it out from tomorrow. All right, let's continue. I'll look it up.
Are they going to present of what they have against David?
Well, they just have to show enough that they have probable cause. However,
what do you mean? They could do anything they want, Ebony. If you look at the images where David is flying back and forth, he's taking a private jet. He's literally on a private jet. Who's going to be looking on a private jet what you're doing? You can easily land and go back into whatever country. And they also found her passport. She had a passport. All right. He probably gave her all the things that she needed to go. And when you have a private jet like that, sending you around, why not? Right? Yeah.
I think because of the nature of the case and everything, and because some of the scrutiny that LAPD and the DA's office came under, I think that they're going to overshoot that a little bit. I think they're going to say, we've got a case here. Look what we have. And this is just what we're showing you for probable cause. Whether it happens or not, I have a feeling it probably is not. The fact that they have not found, especially for those grand jury transcripts, because listen, they need to know, meaning the defense needs to know what Neil Langston and Rob Morgenroth said. They have to have that information. They can't go to a pretrial without that. They have not filed anything to get those unsealed. And the judge told them a couple times, she's willing to unseal it. They just need a motion. The fact that they didn't do that immediately at the courthouse, I think that they're talking a little different than the real strategy that they're going to actually explore.
She's not the only victim of CSAM. That's why, Ebony, he knew police were investigating. They came, they showed the pictures. There's even there's police reports. Those have not been released. Trust, I've tried to look for them. I've not seen any documents that are released about that, but that is why they call Celeste a witness turned victim, because she was a witness in him CSAMing these children. All right. He knew it, and yet he still did all of this anyway. What's up against the logic? Good to see you. Arr, I can't do that right now. Look at that. Good to see you.
Steve, something else that I thought was significant is if the DA is claiming that David killed Celeste to prevent her from coming forward and exposing his alleged illegal behavior, that he did it to protect his career, I thought it was very interesting the following, because according to Rolling Stone, Interscope Records cut ties with him before his arrest. UMG, so Universal Music Group, is working to get their clients' songs that they collaborated on with David removed from streaming platforms. According to People magazine, Fortnite is going to refund the players who made David-related purchases in the game. They released a statement saying, we hear the concerns. We have a bunch of changes we're rolling out over time. The first one will be available on Tuesday, April 28th, when anyone who purchased one of these items will be able to get an immediate self-service refund.
And I read this to you guys yesterday. Everybody is getting rid of him. Anybody that he had a deal with, and we went over that, like there were Crocs, and Fortnite was one of the big ones because he played Fortnite and started making music specifically for that game, so he would be able to use music. All right, but they're refunding people for anything that was bought or purchased under or like about David. Anything that's his, like an asset, gone.
There was this Variety interview where he said, quote, Fortnite has been such a big part of my life, and it's what led me to make music in the first place. Being able to create the official anthem for Fortnite feels like a true full circle moment. Fortnite gave me a space to be creative and connect with people all over the world, and that same energy is what I wanted to put into this track. It's more than a song. It's me giving back to something that shaped my story as an artist, and even now, playing Fortnite is still my true passion. So I find this very relevant for the prosecution's case, Steve. If they're trying to say he tried to silence a witness to prevent his career from being torpedoed, look what just happened after his arrest. They might be able to use this potentially.
And listen, I think if it goes to trial, you're going to see that the way he met Celeste was through Fortnite. And that's significant. And listen, good on Fortnite. They didn't do this after a bunch of pushback.
Of course.
They did this, one person requested a refund.
I'm not muted.
They immediately processed it, and this started.
All right, mods, you got to step in now because people are saying I'm muted in chat. And no mods. I don't have any mods. Tiff is While you're here, Tiff, can you hear me? I don't know what's happening. Anybody? Is this really, you guys can't hear me? I'm talking right now and that's pause. So I'm not going to even continue until somebody tells me they can hear me. Yeah, I don't understand. All right. Thank you. I haven't done anything. I haven't muted myself. All right, let's continue. He thought he was slick, but again, David documented everything, which including the dark homicide of Celeste Rivas, right? I mean, clearly that's her. I don't know what he's thinking.
The ball rolling, and good for them. Yeah, he hasn't been proven guilty yet. I know that, but they're a private company, and if there's like, we don't want our name attached to him whatsoever, and we're going to refund people who, good for them. And because listen, Celeste did meet him through Fortnite when she was very, very young, and then it went over to Discord. And so I appreciate they did that, and he did. He used that platform to lure people, and it's obviously against their terms of service, and they didn't endorse it at all. But I'm glad that they're doing it without being asked to.
I want to talk about the timeline. So you constructed a timeline in this case, and I want to go through some of it. So tell me about what happened on the day of Celeste's alleged killing and what happened immediately after.
Thank you.
It's really wild to kind of.
And now I know we went over some of this, but I just want to have a conversation with you when I'm not reading. So just go through a little bit of this, talk about it, and then guys, if you guys want to call in, I'll open the phone line. I got the number all ready to go. I opened it up. Okay. So we can do that when we're done here. I want to hear your thoughts on this, but I also have more. I mean, I have so much to present, but we'll go to the end of this, and then we can hear what you have to say.
On paper like this, and I got to give my analyst credit for putting this timeline together. On the 23rd is the day that the prosecution alleges that she was killed and lured over there and then killed. Beth Silverman seems to be saying it was the 23rd because last week
going over to his house, and she never.
And she also called it the 1-year anniversary of her death last year on the 23rd. So he comes over there, and that is the day that he just got done with Coachella. He's back. He's kind of on this like rush of activity going on, and they announced that the Wither tour or Wither album's dropping, and there's going to be a tour, and pre-sale starts. So here comes the money rolling in, right? And obviously they're alleging that Celeste was threatening to stop that. Now, what I find really interesting is, and I'm not saying anybody else was involved. I'm just saying I find it interesting that this is a period of time, the 23rd, when they announced that. The next day they have a album release party and Wither tour pre-sale, and then ticket sales start, and then by the 25th he's playing in New York. His management's in town. His management who leased the house is in town. Don't know where they're staying, and his friends are all around. I put up pictures yesterday of them on the 24th at this.
That's why I don't understand where she was and how nobody knew, but they did. Wait till we hear what Neo and Asia have to say. I don't know, Ashley. I can't tell who emails me what because your screen name doesn't match. So I don't know. If you let me know what email it came from, and I'll let you know. Synth just came in with a guilty of crime membership. Thank you. If you received that membership, please thank her.
Party. This would be just hours after he killed her, and he's saying, yeah, and Neo and Asia are in the photos with him.
Yep.
I don't think he had a lot of downtime by himself coming off of Coachella and then all these PR events happening. And by the 25th, from the 23rd, he kills her. By the 25th, he's in New York. He has a party, album release, all this stuff happening. Who's around him? I think that's going to be really key.
Yeah. So this party, you say, is in Culver City, California.
Culver City, baby.
Your post based on the timeline, I do not believe David was alone for more than brief periods between April 23rd and April 25th. I guess the question is, where do you think Celeste's remains were? Where was her body during this?
Yes, where was her body during this?
I don't know. I mean, they're actively at this minute trying to find that out, really. And listen, I think that there's some nexus to downtown LA. On May 5th, when they alleged that she was unfortunately, dismembered by him, they said that happened on May 5th. There's a photo of him that social media post that we recaptured of him at a Cinco de Mayo type event downtown late at night with a food truck. Physiology of this is that she was killed on the 21st and 23rd, of April and dismembered on May 5th, she had to be refrigerated most likely in between. And I don't know if that means it's a warehouse downtown or some sort of facility downtown that he rented or had or whatever, but I don't believe she was kept at the house, and she wouldn't have been in the state really to dismember her to where, you know, she was still wearing clothes and everything. And that would have been, you know, a really tricky situation if she was.
Now, I don't think that Neo or Asia were directly involved in any of this, and I don't even think they saw her body. However, I say that to say this. They both turned on him publicly. They've both testified in the grand jury, probative grand jury. And after that happened, they made very public statements that F David. All right. So Neo, absolutely. And Asia, especially. So those are the two people that were always around him. They knew that Celeste was a little girl. And I'm sure that they knew other things, other children that he was raping. I know, Culver City, that's wild, huh, Mom? It's crazy. All right, let's continue. He didn't hide anything. I don't know why he thought that this would, but you know, the funny thing is you guys in chat are asking, how could he think that? How can he give her an Uber ride and pay for it? Well, what about Diddy? Diddy had his own private jets, and he would fly a girl from Florida out to Hollywood, a young kid. He did that probably 1,000 times, and he never got in trouble for that. He got 4.5 years. All right, let's continue. Kel, thank you. Cuff you, thank you. They're trying to get to that goal. Appreciate it, ladies.
And so I think she was stored downtown or somewhere that had refrigeration.
These allegations are so heinous and so disturbing, but you couple it with the idea of him, you know, allegedly partying right afterwards. And didn't he stream? Didn't you say he streamed, or was it on the 23rd or the 24th?
He streamed a performance. He did a 3-day band lab collaboration in New York City starting on the 25th, then flew home to Houston and performed there from his hometown on the 28th. Then he streamed that as well. But he was, listen, you wouldn't, there's no way, you can't look at the pictures of these performances, except when he starts breaking down and crying, which makes you wonder if that's a little performative. But like when he's at this party, he's having the time of his life. I mean, he's on top of the world. It's all about him. It's his party. He's the belle of the ball, you know? So he doesn't look too bothered. And I sure would like to talk to people like Neo and Asia and his management and say, you know, what was his mindset? What was he talking about? Were you at the house that night? Because David, when they have these parties, they tend to be after parties at the house.
So I go back to something that you.
And you know what, guys? I mean, we've seen a lot of the videos. These guys are high as a kite off of anything and everything. I've got to say that I'm sure David was hopped up on anything and everything in order to make it through the trip to his first debut, right? Allegedly time frame killed Celeste. And then not even 24 hours later, he's off to do a interview on the radio. And then he's off to fly to his next or his concert, what have you. I just think that they were all high as a kite, including Celeste. I think he absolutely rugged her up all the time. People did say that. They said she looked high as a kite. Me too. But I think he would have been worse had they not had they not stopped, because he did ultimately take the life of Celeste brutally.
Wrote in your post, it's difficult to believe that no one knew anything about Celeste. Immunity may protect someone legally, but it does not shield them from public perception.
I know, right?
Especially if information was not brought forward immediately. These photos are from the April 24th party, 100 Thieves, hours after Celeste Rivas Hernandez was killed, according to prosecutors. So you and I talked about this, but I just want you to elaborate on it. You know, I asked DA Nathan Hochman in my interview on Jesse Weber Live on News Nation about whether other people will be charged. And he goes, look, it's an ongoing investigation. If people have more information come forward, he wouldn't confirm whether or not someone was given a deal or whether or not someone's cooperating. I remember he did say there's cooperating and non-cooperating witnesses potentially in the grand jury. Your thoughts on this? Again, if we're looking at the timeline, we're looking at what prosecutors alleging. I'm wondering whether or not potential cooperating witnesses and ideas of immunity deals would even come up in a preliminary hearing.
Listen, I think 2 or 3 people know.
Yep, I do. I think that already came up before the preliminary hearing, guys. And that's what led Neo to publicly come out and say bad things about David, right? Okay, so Synth, thank you for being a member for 22 months. One more super chat gets Jay to take calls. Come on, crew. That was a while ago, so I think we got it. David is way worse than Diddy. At least Diddy's women are alive. Not necessarily, though, Badass. His ex-wife that came out with a tell-all book is dead. A lot of people around him are dead. Tupac and Biggie dead. I don't know about that, guys. I really gotta tell you, I think that Diddy's a monster just as much, but he didn't go with he didn't want blood and mess and gore. But a lot of people mysteriously died of natural causes around him. It's wild, man. Damn. Yeah, it was unconfirmed. They said meth and then they unconfirmed it. So we really exactly don't know. I know. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. He was just more slick about it, and he had other people do it. He had a doctor in his pocket, like a like an anesthesiologist guy that would always be around when somebody died of natural causes. All right, let's continue. I agree. I think you guys just don't. I think you don't realize that. I don't think either one's better than the other. I think they're both evil and disgusting.
And that, that blunt about it. I think two of those people, Neo and Asia, just my opinion, but as an investigator and what I've seen, I think they knew things. And imagine that if you're somebody that reluctantly came forward after being, let's say, arrested or whatever, and being kind of forced your hand, like go to jail or tell your story. Imagine that you pretty much told the story, but held some back and then find out that there's been a wiretap this whole time going on. And it's like, oh God, I'm going to get caught up in this. So is Nathan Hawkins saying, yeah, we can't say nobody's going to be charged if they were honest and they kept to their immunity agreement. Now, he didn't say that, but I'm just saying, I'm just reading between the lines, that then they're probably okay. But if they lied to us, they're not going to be okay. And listen, that wiretap could tell a lot, and if you find out that they didn't tell their whole story or they lied a little bit, then you're not covered anymore.
Can you?
Yeah, it's crazy. Since the 22 months, although it says 22 months, that was just because I hadn't been monetized yet. So it's actually been over 2 years. Because y'all were watching me before I was monetized. I mean, I was just talking about who knows what. What did Flojo? Oh, Flojo's got the inside scoop. You saw that? All right, let's continue so I can get you guys to call in.
Elaborate a little bit more on the wiretap, how it works, how law enforcement would be able to
this is great.
Yeah. So it's done a lot it can be done on a state level, which it was, but it's done a lot on federal level, but they literally tap your phone. So whatever lines that they apply for, it's under like a super warrant. They're supposed to exhaust all other means first, but then they can actually intercept and listen in on all your phone calls and they record them. And we don't know how long this wiretap was ongoing for, but I imagine a pretty long time. So everything, like you said, hey, don't put that in writing. Call me, man. It's all going to be recorded. And I think that's going to take up a very, very large part of the 41 terabytes of data.
When do you think her body was put in that Tesla?
After, I think probably on the night he dismembered her on May 5th, if that's the date it happened, or whenever he did dismember, I think she was put in there probably somewhat in, still in a refrigerated state. And I don't know why he didn't complete, getting rid of her, or if it was just a trophy thing, or if he did it on purpose. I don't know if we'll ever get the answer to that and understand it. But
right? I mean, you guys got to say, this guy, it might not be the sharpest tool in the shed, but he could have done anything else with her body and it wouldn't have been found out for quite some time. And it would be a lot harder to prove that she didn't OD, right? That there wasn't an overdose and he panicked. And I think that's what his defense was going to be. I think that means speculation says that he's gonna say, "Oh yeah, she OD'd and I freaked out and I got rid of her body," but that's not what happened at all. He was planning it. He ordered stuff. He was lying in wait. She got there, and within 20 minutes, she was allegedly already dead. Guys, she got to his house at, would they say 10:10 p.m. and by 10:30, just 20 minutes later, he was like, "Where are you?" And they're pinging from the same location. Yeah, right? I can't understand.
But I think she was put in there shortly after she was dismembered.
Again, just have to be clear, right? You said it before. He's innocent until proven guilty. These are allegations. Why do they believe May 5th is that date of their
I don't know. I think it has to be witness testimony, somebody that knew that came forward, or they have some really convincing text messages, which would just be really dumb if they did that. But going back to the very beginning of this thing, when I was talking to neighbors in that neighborhood, what they told me and what I put out there at the very beginning was the Tesla started being parked in different spots around the neighborhood where the rental house was, starting in May. And, we didn't know any of this information at the time. Now we find out May is the date, and that's when it started moving around. So I think she was in there right after dismemberment.
Steve, I always appreciate you coming on. I know this is not an easy case to talk about. This should be an interesting week. We will see what happens. Thank you.
All right, guys. Tomorrow's Friday. We did what we came to do today. Don't forget to hit that like button. I'm going to put myself here and I will open up the phone line. Anybody wants to call in and you got something to say, hey, maybe you want to correct me. Maybe you want to say, hey, Jay, this or that. All right. Just if we don't get call-ins, then I'm out. Then I'm going to go do whatever. Go eat, go hang out. There's a field trip tomorrow. I'm excited about the field trip. You guys hit that like button, subscribe. The phone line's open, and I don't know if you guys are in real time. Whoever's not in real time. All right. Phone line's open, guys. 408-538-1516. All right. And give it a minute. And if you guys don't call in, then we're going to be done. You guys asked for a call-in show. Come on, y'all. Even Synth. I'm surprised Synth's not calling in. It's because he's a punk. He has no follow-through. He's lazy as hell. Even having the shovel delivered. I know, right? Isn't that crazy that he literally, I call it DoorDash, but whatever. Postmate, whatever you want to call that. That's what he did. All right. Are you guys, no one wants to call in, huh? Y'all asked for it.
Call from
your favorite mod.
To accept, press 1.
All right. There you, I knew you. I'm like, why doesn't she call in at least? What's
I
up,
had to
Ed?
find the right phone number because I didn't want to call the wrong phone number and you'd be like, you're calling the wrong phone number, fool.
Oh, yeah, because I'm so mean to you behind the scenes, right?
Come on now, girl. Come on now. You excited for Crime Con?
Oh, yeah. Hell, every day I wake
I
up,
already
I'm like,
picked-
Crime Con.
Did you get the email where you get to pick your schedule of what places and which ones they're doing and you get to print it out, all the ones you want to do?
No, I'm probably not going to. I'm probably not going to do
I got
that.
mine all picked out. I'm excited. I'm going to
No.
go see me schlep at the meet and greet.
You know what? I'll look at your schedule because I have a bunch of people. I have my the whole guilty family with me, and we're the only ones that have the tickets. So I'm just gonna float around and see what's up. You know what I mean? I probably would have bought a day
There's
pass.
some good ones.
Did you see?
I know.
I probably would have bought a damn day pass. I just spent almost $800.
Oh, I know. I just saw that they offered that. They didn't offer that before.
I know. I'm bummed.
That
But
would have been nice.
It would have been. Who's going to CrimeCon?
CrimeCon.
So what's
somebody better be going to CrimeCon? It's going to be hot and sweaty.
What's your deal with CrimeCon? I thought, are you guys renting a house or what are you doing?
No. Remember that all went to because. Well, originally I bought the second ticket for Tiffany, but then she wasn't going to be able to do it.
Don't
then
call
I was
her.
going to rent the house.
Don't call
because
her.
I was going to see my sister, my only blood relative, but she turned into a potato. And so we're no longer related. And she's stewing in a pot somewhere. So F her. And then the other one, she went and turned on me too. So F her. And I'm going down there for the crime family and have fun. And I'm taking my husband.
Awesome.
And we haven't gone on a vacation, just us, in I think 10 years. So it's going to be like a little mini moon. And
awesome.
I haven't been to Vegas since I lost my mom. So still debating if I'm going to go buy the house where all that went down or not, just so I have closure. But I'm excited. We're going to be like a day or two after it too. So we're going to have a couple of days to do some things around town.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But I'll send you my schedule so you can see which ones I signed up for.
Yeah, because I didn't
But
do
I
any of
figured
that.
between your kids and because you're gonna have the doggies and stuff too, right?
No, our son's gonna watch the dog. I think
Oh, okay,
we
yeah.
might bring pieces, but
Yeah.
no, you
I
can't.
don't. Yeah, I don't know how Max is gonna do it because Max doesn't even like to not have me around for like 2 hours.
Yeah, well, we
You know what
normally
I
take
mean?
the dogs in the motorhome, but I'm with having Mama Pearl, Baby Guilty, myself, and Mrs. Guilty. We're not. Yeah, I don't want dogs
I
in
know.
there. It's
Yeah,
just too
you're
much.
gonna. It's gonna be a lot, but yeah, I have debated about it, but they won't allow dogs at the place we're gonna stay at.
Well, we have
But
we got all ours are like service dogs anyway, but no, our son, that's what sons are for, that are 26 years old and they come shop at your house for free.
right? Yeah, they will be watching Maxie Poo unless he's working. But then Kevin's mom's gonna come and stay while we're gone.
Oh, nice.
So
My mom was being cool. She was gonna stay with Baby Guilty and let us go, and Baby Guilty wasn't having it. So
yeah,
she wasn't having it. She's like, I'm going to Vegas, bitches.
yeah,
Let's
she's
go.
at that age where she still has that kind of pull on you.
Yeah, she probably always is,
Yeah,
girlfriend.
yeah. Shoot, come on now. I haven't told Elizabeth that the place we're going to has a pool, otherwise she'd be up my butt too.
Oh yeah, Reese is always gonna be like that. Well, when she's a teenager, she's gonna be like, "Let me have your card. That's all I need."
Yeah, that's it. She doesn't even need your card, Mom. Come on now.
No,
She
she
gets the
doesn't.
stuff sent to her, and you just approve it and just go, okay, that sounds good. You know, one day it's going to go from like $30 to $300, and then $300 to $3,000. And you'll be like, did I just do something? Oh dear.
Oh, it already has. It already
Right. That girl.
Colin's cool. I'm gonna leave for tonight. Watch the next live. All right, guys. Does anyone want to call in about this game? You know, one person called when we were talking, but nobody else called in. So
Man, people, what's up, people? You don't want to talk to Jay? She's fabulous.
yeah, during the Madeline Soto case, everybody wanted to call in, and this
right?
one,
And
everybody
say rude shit. At least they call in to say rude shit and then hang up.
Let's see if it's rude shit. Hold on, real quick. Let's see.
Oh my gosh. Well, I want to
call from
Allison.
Allison, where are you calling from?
From Southern California.
Holly, sorry, Cynthia. I mean to hang up on you. What do you
I forgive you like always. I forgive you always like always. Even though you rubbed the Red Bull in my face every day, you know, I'm over here dying, working, and computer multitasking, but I forgive you like always.
Hey, that's not a flex. I'm old. I'm getting old and I can't work all day and then do this after.
Jay, we're the same age.
Oh, are we? Okay.
Okay.
Well,
so
what do you got?
I want to get off topic. So one, just wanted to ask, like, do you feel like the trial for David is gonna go long? In distance, in the sense if it's gonna last for a very long time. I don't know if it's the right verbiage of it. And then can you just answer that question first?
Yeah, first. So here's the thing. If now this is going to tell us based on the next hearing, whether it's a prelim hearing or just a hearing to find out whatever motions are requested. So number one, if it doesn't get to a plea, then yes, it's going to be a longer trial because they have so many witnesses and so much evidence. Did you see the witness list? There's like 70 something people on there, and then what, 50 terabytes?
Okay.
I mean, what do you think? What do you think can happen?
I feel like this is gonna. I have a feeling this is gonna. It could be a possibility. It could end this year, right? Or it could prolong until next year. I feel it all depends on how much he wants to fight for his life, basically. Because I know he knows that he's
Well, he knows that the death
you know?
penalty. No, that's why I believe that they're overshooting for the death penalty to scare him. I really don't think that they want to put this into a trial, but here's the thing. I think his tactic is to not waive his right to a speedy trial, make them go to trial, and he thinks that they're gonna win. His team's smarter, and because they're not giving him time that he can get a reasonable doubt. That's what I think. Because why haven't they pushed anything out? Why didn't he waive his right to a speedy trial?
Interesting. Yeah, you have a point
They
there.
didn't. They didn't even ask for anything. They asked for a haircut and clothes, and the judge kept saying, you can file a motion to unseal the documents that you need anytime now, and they never did it. He said it several times.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, thank you for covering this because I like it. And I also like when you come out with the rant about mother trucker. It's hilarious. I've been bawling over here. Second question. It's off topic. Do you think there's going to be any progress or anything regarding the nasty potato?
Oh, dear Lord.
I know it's like
I just don't think so anymore. I reached out to everybody possible. I talked to them. They said they were going to do this. Stefan said he talked to them. I really don't think so. I really think they're going to, at this point, we're in 2026. If we don't hear anything or ever, I think she's going to be the grieving mom. I really do. I thought we would hear something by now. Didn't you?
No, I did. Honestly, I felt like I had just a small hope. Sorry for the background, my dog.
No, you're fine.
It's just unfortunate that, she's guilty and yet, she's just breathing, walking free like nothing, and just very disappointing.
It's very disappointing.
Justice and karma will get to her, I just believe that in life. But
yeah, I just saw so many things that couldn't be ignored. And then when you start talking to law enforcement and the different people involved and you hear, okay, this is going on, you get a little hope. But as time goes by, I haven't heard a thing. And I don't have anything to talk to about Stefan, right? There's nothing to talk to. I don't care about his meals or whatever. His mom talks to him all the time, and I certainly still could. But if you're not going to tell me about what Jen's part was, then I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've tried to get anything out of him that I could, and write it a certain way. And he's just not. He's just
why
not.
do you feel like he just doesn't do anything? Why? What is he's already in there. It's not like he's going to lose anything.
Yeah, I think he still thinks he has a chance. And the only reason I'm saying that is because that's what he said in one of the last emails that he sent to us. Last couple of emails is, I don't want to ruin my chances at whatever. I don't have the verbatim, but I think that he thinks that there's a chance that if he says anything wrong and he goes of course they're going to file an appeal. They always file an appeal. So he doesn't want to mess up his appeal. Even though getting an appeal is like what, 2%? It's like the chances of getting an appeal are like very low.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I'm taking the time. Other people must be calling, but I appreciate you answering my call.
Yeah, no problem.
And appreciate you every 4 o'clock when you're not coming out. I'm like, where's Shay?
I know you got.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good night, and I'll be sure to.
Likewise.
I'll be sure to show my Red Bull off to you tomorrow. Okay.
Oh, you're so sweet. You shouldn't do that. You're so sweet.
1%.
You need to say. You better talk to Jay about that. That's not nice. All right. Thank you.
All right. Have a good night. Bye. All right, guys. Yeah, Allie called in. That was awesome. It was good talking to her. There's 222 people in chat, which is an angel number, my friends. 1%. Thank you, more. Oh, now let's see if it's a
call from Ashley.
Ooh. Hello, Ashley. Where are you calling from?
I'm actually calling from the other side of the U.S. in Maryland.
Ooh, Baltimore, huh?
Close, like 30 minutes away.
All right. Well, what do you?
So I'm the one who sent you the email the other night. I didn't know if you had a time to watch the video or not, but there's this case gets me so upset. So I'm sorry that
it's okay.
My voice is cracking. It really. I have a sister who's really close to her age, and it kills me. But
hey,
so
I had trouble last night processing this information. I really did. I have you guys all know I have an 11-year-old daughter, And I've been saying that Celeste was 11 when she met him on the video game that went to Discord. So it's very disturbing, this whole thing.
Well, so I watched a video by Strategic Eyes, and basically what he was saying in this video is that David really was obsessed with this. I think it's called MPD Detectives. It's an anime.
Yeah, I'm going to do that on the next episode. And
perfect.
Yeah, no shade at Strategic. I just don't. We had we were fine in the Madeline Soto case, but we just aren't really, we don't work together. So I don't use his stuff or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's all
I
good.
understand that.
I appreciate it.
Totally,
Yeah,
I just thought the angle of it was.
I've got the angle. I've got the angle for you guys. I just didn't have time to read that document and play, but I do get the angle. I'm going to talk about the anime and the arms that were cut and the things that were missing. I got the whole thing ready to go for you guys.
Perfect. Well, I don't spoil it for anybody then.
Yeah. Yeah. But Dr. Vana says mine is even more in depth. Oh yeah. We're going to blow your mind when we do this. I just didn't want to mix it today with what I was doing. But I did
absolutely.
I do remember your email 110%. And yes, Wolfpack said he blocked me because I was your mod. Yeah, we had a little true crime creator nonsense going on, and I brought him on my channel, and it just went sideways. So I don't go there.
Yeah, no problem.
But
at the end of the day, this is about getting justice for somebody, and everything aside, that's all that matters right now. You know what I mean? That poor girl needs justice, and it's this case, I think, touches a lot of people close to home because they know a Celeste.
Yes.
And with the internet and everything like that, it's really hard to keep an eye on your kid. I believe her parents knew. I believe her parents were involved. I've listened to, Steve Fisher, the PI. I've heard him say that they have pictures of the parents at that house.
Yeah, they do. They do.
So they knew.
And they were financially compensated too. I don't know if it was with cash or if he left the trail just like everything else, like just Zelled them money, but they didn't speak English very well. And so, when people come into the country and their kids speak English, but they don't, they're kind of out of sorts on things. I think they were a little out of sorts, but they knew exactly who David was and what was going on. 110%. More.
Well, I had asked my younger sister the other day, I was like, do you know who he is? And because I was like, I'm old. So I was like, do you know who this is? Or did you know him? And the only thing she knew about him was that he took her, Celeste's life. And I don't think he was as famous as, he thought he was.
No.
At least with the older.
No.
He may be popular on social media and the younger crowd, but, for him to have a deal with Fortnite and all that stuff, I mean, it's so easy for kids or someone to go on there and say, yeah, I'm a kid, I'm 13 or whatever. And then, you have no idea who they are.
Well, I mean, like I said, I have a daughter that's that exact freaking age. I have a 26-year-old son that also grew up with a lot of social media. And I was even scared of him. I'd always tell him hey, who are you talking to? What guy is it? Guys still attack guys. Nowadays, women are doing it to, teachers are doing it to their students. So we really have to educate ourselves because our generation and their generation are so separate that we need to educate ourselves, period.
Oh yeah, I remember the dial-up and
oh yeah, me too. You're all talking on the phone and you get kicked off. Yeah.
But I mean, I think because there's such a separate gap, and then you bringing up the language barrier and stuff like that, I think this was basically, and I heard them talk about how his neighbor's husky had died, so they were getting ready to dig up the husky because they thought the smell was coming from the dead dog. So they were
Yes.
getting ready to like dig up the dog and like bury it deeper because everybody kept noticing this like smell on and off in
Dude,
the neighborhood.
I played a video when they were in the house and he was trying to laugh it off about, oh, I farted or you farted. So it was an ongoing thing. Now, listen, people that smell decomp, first responders, they know what that is. It never goes away. You know how sometimes you
And
get a
there's
smell?
no other smell like it.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. But these kids, but here's the thing is they knew that she was 11, 12, 13 and other girls that he was doing that to, but I don't know that they knew that was like, or I don't know that they could have imagined it was her body smelling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just don't know how it went for so long and why. He could have done anything with her body besides it.
Yeah, I'll let you go, but I'll say this last thing. You know, he had, and this is a lot of people have brought this up, he had every opportunity and so long to do whatever he wanted with her. So no one would ever have found her.
I know.
You know, whether it's drive the car into the ocean, you know, take her out to the desert, whatever. But for some reason, he kept her close. I think there's some type of sick trophy type thing, you know,
I do too, but at the same time, I'm like, I mean, a trophy is one thing. A trophy is like, okay, I cut her 2 fingers off. One of them says David, and the other, that's a trophy, right? But an entire dismembered body just sitting there for months going from, I mean, he did keep, who knows if he didn't do anything with her after he killed her. Maybe he had sex with their body and kept her.
I think he did.
I know he probably did.
I 100% think he did.
He's super
I mean,
dark.
It's hard to think about that, but like the way that they speak about the CSAM and like the way that they speak about like his attachment style to her, that codependent relationship that they had,
right?
It's a little disgusting because it seemed like, you know, she needed him for certain things, but he also depended on her for a lot of things too. And I think their relationship was very childlike, you know, and very immature. And he almost seems at times more immature than she does.
Yeah, but he's playing mind games with her. When you start to see, once everything starts to come out, he's using that, like that call we listened to where he's like, hey, why do you think we met? And she goes into he's playing mind games with her. I don't think he's half as naive as he played. And a lot of pedos are like that. That's why he was wearing Hello Kitty shit and trying to be all, you know.
Oh, and the jersey he wore with her birthday on it.
Yep. And with
like,
the black dolly of the dead with one eye gone.
Yeah, and the casket thing, you know, at the concert and all. I mean, there's just so many things in this that just totally, I mean, looking it up, sometimes my jaw is just like on the floor. And I can't sleep at night because I think about what that poor little girl not only went through in her last moment, but like this happened to me with Maddie Soto too.
Me too.
I thought about her all the time because how afraid, you know, she was alone, afraid with an adult who had so much power over her. And but
that's that's part of grooming too. I think honestly, and I had a conversation the other day with somebody about by the time Maddie had, you know, died, I think she was groomed so heavily because it had been happening for so long that she did actually think that it was love. And that, you know, when she's 18,
and I think Celeste thought that too.
110%. 110%. He told her he was going to marry her. We're going to see the text messages.
The ring. Yeah.
The ring. Yeah. We're engaged. Right.
Yep. The baby stuff, all the other. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean,
come over here and play house with me. This is what you could have, you know, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, he played mind games, but I do think that he tried to play it off more as him being innocent, but he isn't. When you watch the actual videos, it's like, it's very manipulative. He manipulates emotions with everybody.
Well, I mean, I don't know about you, but I definitely think that there's other victims. I don't know how far he's gone with them, but I think that there are other children that have been abused by him.
Oh yeah, they are.
You know, I hope that they all get justice. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
I hope that no one
they're coming forward now, and we don't even know if there's going to be a separate charge for that, or there might be. If enough people come forward, they may just have a whole other trial for that. I mean, Celeste said it too. Celeste said, "Why? Because you're raping kids." Like everyone knew that he was having relations with underage kids that can't consent. Yeah, there's
and this
definitely
day and
other.
age, they all film everything too. So I'm sure there was like cameras in his house, or he recorded them doing stuff. And
Well, they said
that.
like they said they had Celeste not only naked but in the midst of acts with him on his. And
it makes you wonder: did she know she was being recorded? Did she, not that she can necessarily consent because of her age, but like, did she even know?
Probably not. Probably not. And if she did, I'm sure he just, justified it with some emotional, like, oh, if we do this, then this is going to be great. I'm sure it was just all manipulation.
Well, I can remember it on tour, or, oh, well,
Yeah, we're going to have kids one day. And, he's just bullshit. If she did, then that's why she was getting at an age where he couldn't manipulate her. And she said, I want more than this. I'm going to be 15 and I want more. I want to go out. I want you to hold my hand. And that's not what pedos do. Pedos find younger victims.
Yep. Yeah. Because, look at all the Epsteins. It was like you age out at a certain point where, like, Leonardo DiCaprio, stuff like that. If once you get a certain age, you're of no use to them anymore.
110%.
You're like an object to them.
Because they don't like that. Their whole deal. And now we know, like, it wasn't just Celeste. Other victims came forward, and there's a ton of CSAM on his, on his devices. So I'm sure he was in that world quite a bit. And he probably had not only child P or CSAM, but I bet you there was some dark stuff in there too, like dead body stuff, things like that.
Yeah, he was sending the private eye. He said that he was sending other children pictures of like bodies that have been cut apart. I don't know how much I can say. I don't need to like.
Yeah, that's fine.
But and the other girls were like, like what the heck, like what is, But I think his whole world revolved around all of that stuff. And that's why I believe that no one in his circle didn't know.
Right.
Because this was his life. This was everything to him. So you can't tell me that his parents, his friends, his management, that they all didn't know.
Well, he said that his mom said, you're going to put that out? Like what blew him up was that damn song where he was all bloody. And I always forget the name of it but romance, whatever he called it, romantic homicide.
Yeah.
Garbage.
I won't watch any of his stuff. Like, I just seen clips and stuff because I don't want to give anybody money for, I don't.
Well, he's not getting a thing. He gets no more profit, and I don't watch it. What my whole point is it probably will be used in court. And I think he fantasized about that when he was watching these things. He was fantasizing about that with a sexual component. And it might not even have been sexual. It may have been more of a power dynamic,
They say when people go further and further and further, they need more and more to like become aroused.
Especially especially people that have so much money so fast that don't know what to do with it. I'm telling you right now.
Yep. So I think he just took it further and further and further. Celeste was the closest one to him, and I truly think that he thought that this was like some kind of freaky, twisted love story, Romeo Juliet type.
He did. I mean, look at it. You see him on the interview saying, I'm not with that girl that told me I love you anymore. Look at 2 years ago. I did this song. I mean, I think he fantasized about it all the time. And that was his excuse. And it was a way to say, so I get to keep Celeste forever. Because you take her life, she never gets to do anything else, and you get to do what you want, but you know what I mean? You took her life. And I've heard that many times. I've heard that many times.
Ultimate control.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate control over her, that like I get to live my life, and I took, I was the last piece of yours, and I took what you could have had. It's that whole like I don't want you, but I don't want anybody else to have you, so
Exactly.
I'm gonna do.
But then also, I don't want you telling on me, even though he's.
Oh yeah.
You know what? She'd have told on him. He'd have probably got freaking probation or house arrest
Yep.
for a little while. That's it. That's all.
Yep.
Because
If
Celeste,
anybody even believed her.
if anyone believes her, number one, number two, even if they did, a lot of people would justify it, especially when you get a 12-person
Oh, yeah.
jury. They would say this little girl was sexting back with them. She was more grown up. She was already running away before she met David. They'd have justified it. He wouldn't have gotten that much trouble. So I don't understand why it got this far. I think it's just his fantasy, and he thought he'd get away with it.
Yeah, but I agree. I mean, he had the world at his fingertips, and he could have really
I know,
just let her go and move on. So
I know. Like I said,
There's
he
a
wasn't
lot of
worried
questions.
about. We have worries about oh, we got to get to work on time. Our kids got to get to school
Yep.
on time. We're sitting there
Yep.
thinking about, oh, I'm saving for my next vacation. But he's got nothing. So fast it came, and so many people were praising him, and groupies and girls throwing themselves that. I think the ultimate power is what he wanted to do whatever, because he already had enough money to buy what he wanted. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. No, I saw that. I think that release, that text that he sent her $9,000 or something, and to a girl her age, that's like $1 million.
Exactly.
That's a lot of money.
Especially for a family that lives in a little apartment in downtown, Los Angeles area or whatever. I forgot. Lake Elsinore is 70,000.
Yeah, I wanted.
Town of
Don't
70,000.
you live nearby there, or
I'm in
where it is?
Yeah, I grew up down south. I know where it is.
So let me ask you, what is that area like? Is it a poverty-stricken area? What kind of neighborhood?
No, I wouldn't say that, but I think everywhere is like that. I think everywhere has a spot. I mean, I'm in San Jose, Silicon Valley, where some of the richest people live and have started business. But you can go, to the east side of San Jose and you've got the homies. But no, Lake Elsinore is not like that at all. As a matter of fact, depending on the place where you are, it's actually a lake and there's a village and it's beautiful and people go there. And there's only 70,000 people in that town. So it's everybody knows everything, right?
Yeah.
But
I noticed a lot.
But they lived in an apartment.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I noticed a lot of their pictures are in the woods, and I was like, did he take her to the woods because that was what was close by, or did he take her in the woods all the time because he couldn't take her out in public because she's 12?
Yeah, I think I think there's a combination of the two. Just like he had that little cottage house that he called the cottage that he was renting for $8,500 a month, where he would take her. I think it's because she just wasn't old enough, but he thrived on that. I think if she was old enough, he would have just lost interest in her. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. I want to know, are they going to go after her parents? Because
I don't think so.
They said April 23rd that she came from her house and, an hour and a half Uber ride. But then they also said she was, quote unquote, listed as a missing person. So if she was at her house, how was she a missing person?
So here's what happened. She had ran away multiple times. The reason they were even looking at David was because she had already done this. The parents knew, both sets of parents knew that they were having this illicit relationship that wasn't okay. But I guess they figured, okay, it's been, a couple years. They've been talking. It's safe. I don't know. But here's what happened. The last time she left, she really wasn't missing. The reason they called it in as missing is because she did say she was going to come home. She said she was going to go out with David and watch a movie or something. That's what she told her brother. And that was when she never was heard from again. That was the day she died. So they had to put her as a missing person, because in California, you cannot just say, oh, my child's not going to school. You have to have records of them going to school, homeschool, something. It's against the law. You will be arrested. So they had to label her as a missing person. She was not missing.
Okay.
There were several times where she was not missing and they knew where she was. But by law, you can't just let your kid go off and do that.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So
Well,
I
thank
mean,
you for sharing all the stuff, that you
yeah.
have. I really, you filled in a few blanks that I had, but, I'm glad that there's other people out there that share the grief and the pain that I do for this poor kid.
Oh no, a lot of us do, and that's what I mean. Especially seeing this evidence, this is terrible. This is worse than I thought.
Oh, I've seen a lot of cases, and we have a lot of information. There's a lot of digital footprints out there, and this is, to be honest, I don't even think it's going to go to trial
I don't
because
either.
I don't think he's going to want all that evidence out there. They have to go to discovery. They have to, and they don't want a paper trail of, they were fighting to get this stuff sealed.
I know. They wanted to get it sealed. They didn't want to unseal it to see what it was. They wanted to keep it sealed, which makes no sense as a defense. You can't put on a defense if you don't know what the prosecution has. So that's why
I think it was more about like not tainting the jury pool or whatever, but
yeah, that's
I
bullshit.
think the pool's already tainted at this point.
But nobody knows Dave. I mean, honestly, in all honesty, me, like 9 out of 10 people that I talk to never heard of David. And I don't know if it's just because I'm old and maybe it's just 16, 17
I hate to say that, but yes, we are old and we're not hip.
Well, his music is trash too. Anyway, I know good music from bad.
I don't even listen to anything after like early 2000s because I'm just like, everything else is like garbage. But
I know.
I agree. I agree. I don't even know how he got so like popular. I think it's a lot of like Fortnite because so many kids play Fortnite. But I keep like a super low profile, so like I don't catch a lot of things that happen on social media. But I think social media had a lot to do with his popularity.
Oh, 110%. Yeah, 110%. That's what blew him up.
I think people who are like heavily online know who he is. But if you're out like living your life, you have no idea.
Right. And the thing is that's why all of us now heard about him is because of this true crime. Many people didn't know. And those people that did are still in that like community of, sitting in their mom's basement still. Go get a job, buddy, playing video games. Because that's what he was doing. The only reason he made music is because he wanted music for Fortnite. And he just got lucky. It's like winning the lotto. Very low chance, but it happened.
Yep, and he threw that chance right away.
I know. It's crazy.
I mean, seriously, people would literally do anything for chances, and people deserve chances like that and don't ever get them. So
yeah, but we're not. I don't think we're prepared for that as humans. I mean, we're not supposed to just have so much all at once, or there's not an equal distribution of money in that way. 75% of people that either win the lotto or get an inheritance or what have you, go bankrupt within 5 years because they don't know how to
get into trouble.
Or people take their money, steal it, kill them, whatever. We're not meant to. We're destroying ourselves essentially, and that's a whole other topic. But we're not meant to go from like being in our closet making music on a video game to just having all the money and all the power. It's just not. So
and I think somebody like David, that God complex, you know what I mean?
Oh, he's a narcissist, straight up. Yeah,
it went straight to his head. So I think he thought he was really going to get away with it, even with keeping our body right outside.
110%. And we'll see what happens next, though. Let's keep close to eye on it. I want to see what their tactic is going to be because right now there is no defense.
Yeah.
There's zero defense.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for talking to me. Hey, everybody, send her a bunch of super chats. She deserves it.
I'll see you guys tomorrow and have a good night.
Yeah,
all right?
Definitely. You two have fun on your field trip tomorrow.
I'm not going. Grandma Pearl is,
okay.
But that's even better.
Okay.
That's even better.
Yeah.
Trust me. I dreamt about that day happening. Mama Pearl was there when we picked the baby. We literally, I'm Mom, which baby daddy should we pick? You know my situation, right? You know, I have my wife for 20-something years. So we did the picking. My mom was part of it. We talked about, I'll take her to school when she goes. And she wasn't even born yet. My mom went to every appointment. So yes, I've dreamt about this day and it's happening tomorrow.
Okay. Awesome. So you enjoy your day, and I'll see you guys later.
All right. Have a good night. Take care.
You as well.
All
Bye.
right, bye-bye. All right, guys. That was it. You guys stayed here and just listened. That was cool. Hold on. You guys like just listening to conversations. All right, y'all. We've been here for 3 hours and 13 minutes. We did absolutely make our goal and above and beyond. Thank you more. I didn't get to thank you in the last portion for the 10 guilty of crime memberships. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. You guys are kind of talking amongst yourselves. This is a lot worse than any of us thought. He says he didn't do it, right? All right, guys. And yes, see, Dr. Vana, I was going to bring you up in the conversation and say we should really have this conversation with Dr. Vana as well, because you know about all this in a clinical sense, right? Anyhow, on that note, 3 hours and 15 minutes. I am out. I will see you guys tomorrow on Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Thank you, guys. Love you all. Mwah. Good night. Thanks for hanging in, Deb, the whole time, talking to Mama Pearl. Have a good one. Love you guys. We're going to get into the alter ego, too. We'll do that tomorrow. Good night.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty of crime?